that one,
Uh-huh.
and you can see Attu's moon, you can see Attu, and you can see its center ring going
I see
across at
it
a dip
ringing.
axis, and
Uh-huh.
and and that's what it reminded me of, seeing that white
It
line across
does.
right there, and then you can go
So
to the
you're
next
looking for those darker circles,
right,
like,
and you can go
top,
to the next circle, next
middle,
picture.
over is a dark circle right there. I see it stands out. Okay, sorry.
And this is when Attu and Attu's moon first came in, and
Okay,
there you have just a picture of
Oh,
Attu,
I love this picture.
I
and you can
know.
see the center ring, on the one and only ring on Attu,
See,
and
look, this is what we're seeing on that video that you were just playing, Rebecca. You see the outline of it, how it's
Let's go back.
just a little just a little lit up. See, it's almost like light coming from behind it. That's the same, basically the same thing we're seeing on. I think
Sorry. Let's go
Matthew
back.
posted that purple add to picture. Yeah, this is the same thing. How it's there's just that outline of light coming from behind it, and then you see the darkness of it, and
So
and
then
is
even
it
after the sun
behind?
rises, they're
Is
right
it behind
here. You can
stars?
still see the line differential on the ring. You can still see it right.
you know what, me and Sam were just saying, those might just be asteroids we're seeing traveling by, because
Ah,
they're passing by
okay.
pretty fast, while
They
every
were. I. Okay, that helps.
And the asteroids are always, the major object cluster group is
because
under
it's
Attu and
only
Attu's
two.
moon.
We're only seeing two. If it was stars, we'd be seeing a whole lot more, right? I mean,
Yeah, you'd be
Yeah,
seeing many, many more stars.
that's
Where's
true.
the Big Dipper? Where's Orion? Where's,
Yeah.
Perseus or
So are you saying that
Andromeda? Or
is at Tu's moon, or you're just guessing? Maybe. Are
well,
you?
no, it was Attu's moon and Attu. It can't be
That's.
anything else.
But
It has to
the
do with size, proximity, location at night.
that
Oh,
arch.
it can't be anything overhead unless it's something that's currently overhead, and we know
Yeah.
that Uri is going to the north, by northeast sky, and then rotating back again every morning. And
Are you
then we
saying?
know. Go ahead.
Sorry. Are you saying that arch that we saw was Atu's moon?
jeez.
No, that was the arch we saw was with the first one. Yeah, the arch was Attu's moon, and
Yeah.
then it's coming in. It's overhead at night, and then we see the ring of Attu illuminating because it's in between Attu and Attu's moon and all of that.
Okay.
And
I
here
just.
you're seeing an
Yeah.
illumination of a green nature. This could be the bottom of Nepenthe, or it could be Attu's moon. But you can see there's an yeah, okay, Attu's moon, I would say, because it's white,
Wow.
That is
and you can see
cool.
the bottom of this, and the rest of the sky is orange, and this illumination directly
So,
above is the bottom of a planet.
okay. One. Do you think Nepicity is behind somewhere? Because it looks so
Well,
green.
it's in the normal rotation, and we're looking at a white
Somewhere
illumination
coming
over
in.
here to the right, and that could be open base core right there at a
Yeah.
different angled axis. Remember, we're looking through a wide lens.
Isn't that pretty? It's just floating. It's just,
And they're
very
rotating over the
graceful.
top of us, and
Just drifting by. I mean, just so
I
casual.
know. It's like kind of
But,
trippy.
uh,
years ago they were much smaller, and we saw them, and oh boom, there they are, and then they come in, and then they go by, and then we saw them transition back into the darkness. And now they're so huge, they're showing off in a completely different behavior pattern, and which makes it really, you guys, I'm sure, both know, it makes it really hard to tell what's what now because everything mixes in together and it's so huge.
yeah, to the question of Professor Lozoplotamus, I'm going to say, we're seeing more. They're not as common night. They're not a we never said we don't see them at night. They're just much less uncommon. They're much more common in the daylight in the day. But
Yeah,
we're now
when
they're
they go,
transitioning above Earth and away, so we're going to start seeing more
yeah, they're going past us now.
nighttime passing. So now's a good time to be looking at the night
Yeah,
sky.
look, and look up. Don't look out. Don't look for your horizontal issues. Look up.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna start seeing those a lot more. They're gonna be a lot more, and
And we've got tons of sightings coming in all the time where it's just absolutely, you can't deny it. especially when it's purple and or when it's white, or when it's red, or if you can see we've even seen this Atom's yellow moon illuminate. I had a great picture on Montana Skywatcher 1 for the longest time of that nighttime illumination, where it was just yellow as hell. And they're brief. That's the thing. You got a 15-minute window to capture these in some cases of this kind of illumination as it transitions. And sometimes they come walking in out of the dark, and you see them, and then they get brighter and more clear and more clear. And then they're there, and you got your camera finally, and I took 2 shots, and then they start fading away. And it's like, wow, that was weird. And then you question about what you're seeing, because everybody does, me every day still, until I'm driving home again from Missoula or something, and I'm looking dead center at this, going, okay, there is Atu's moon, and there's the Saturn and the Shatsam, there's the ion tail going across the sky. How the hell can I argue with it? There it is again. And we're slapped in the face with this big fish at Pike Street Market, going, I can't argue with this, because it fits, and it fits. We've been doing it 13 years.
Hey Sam, I've been meaning to ask you, your old partner, that we talk about every so often.
God, remind me. No, go ahead.
Yeah, he told me one of his theories, and I found it interesting. And to me, it kind of rang like could be possibly something, could be possibly true. But he said that the reason for these volcanic eruptions that we've been having much more common than we used to, a lot of it has to do with the discharges coming from these other planets. Is there a correlation there between?
Well, yeah, there's a thread attachment that it's like the little Scotty dog magnets.
No, but okay, so no, what? No, this is the way he explained it to me.
Okay.
He said the discharges, it's almost like a transfer of energy in the way.
Oh yeah,
and the way that Earth and the way that Earth is trying to get rid of all this extra charge.
Right. The ion bleed off between a larger body versus a small body. Yes.
Rebecca, it is through volcanic eruptions, because it's like a whole lot of extra charge.
Rebecca, you've got those rainbow ion tower bleed offs from the city streetlights.
Yes.
But does that make sense? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. There's a transfer of energy. We've seen definitions of the even in Russia in the early onset, where we saw these illumination bleed offs, and that is all you saw. You didn't see the planets at night at all. You just saw the glowing, rounding crescent around the area of the larger planet bleeding off from the smaller planet, and that whole area illuminated it as well. And that goes back into that 4-foot office tube lighting. When the accelerated electrons bump up into each other, they give off light. They fluoresce. Yes, this is that same example of that, Jesus, where the lights here are bleeding up into space, and that is ion and electron energy of Earth being pulled away by a larger body.
See, okay,
it's like an
electron. Good thing I was talking about this, because the day before that time lapse that we were watching earlier that I posted, this was going on. We had a lot. So 2 days prior to that time lapse, we had a lot of fog.
Yeah, those are electron towers.
We had about for 2 days we had this very thick fog, right? And then it was one day very thick fog, and then the next day wasn't so bad, but there was a lot of this going on. A lot of this. It seemed like the light from most of street lights and everything was going up instead of down.
These are electrical connections where the accelerated electrons are being drawn up in this electric pathway that links.
Yes, there was a lot of this. There was
and a lot of this.
And then the next day, because I had noticed that there was a close planet, a few mornings before that, but it was not quite in view, but I noticed that it was a little distant, but it was.
This also affects our planetary magnetosphere.
Yes,
it affects the connective electricity inside the rock.
So, 3 days prior, I saw what looked like incoming illumination, which was still a little distant, but I saw that something was there, right? And then the next day, fog. The next day, we had this, and then on third day we had a very
Keep this
close
picture.
pass. So you could, if you really paying attention, guys, you could document this stuff of how they're a little distant. Then you start seeing what effects it has on Earth, because that
Oh,
whole
I have
for
some
those
pictures to
four
send you.
for those 4 days that I noticed something
Are
was
you
above
sending?
the sun
I'll send you
as it was
three.
coming
Keep,
up in the east.
Okay.
keep this one up.
Um,
I want to show you exactly what this is because it just dawned on me
Okay.
as I'm looking at it longer. I stopped looking at the light shaft and I started looking at the cloud pattern in front of us, and I went, "Duh!" And the green
Sorry,
above it.
Jesus.
I'm gonna send you. I'm gonna send you like three pictures, and they're
Okay.
old, early Nepesity sightings at nighttime space illumination. Here's the
Okay.
first one because I found it first, and then I'll keep looking in my Nepesity file, and
Okay.
that is the oldest of them, and it will come up for you in just a second as I hesitantly continue talking, trying not to bore people to death out there in
I was just
podcast
going to
land.
tell
But
Subarctica I can relate. They said that she says, or he, I'm not sure, but I'm in New York. I don't see a lot of this, unfortunately.
yeah, you have
And
light
I
pollution
don't
that
either. From
steals
day
their
to
view.
day, I have my days where it is off the hook, just crazy. But not, I'd say that's how many days a month, Jesus? Like 6? I don't know, not
I would
tons. I
say,
mean,
I would say sometimes it's more prevalent than others, but I mean sometimes you'll go a
yeah.
week with a dry spell, but I would say the most I've gone is about a week, and then you
And
have
then it'll hit
something.
for 2 or 3 days where it will be really good, 2 or 3 days in a row, and then it pulls away and it's
Yeah,
2 or
yeah, but I mean,
It
so
transitions.
sometimes again, like I was saying just a while ago, sometimes you'll see it where it's just a little distant, but you could tell that something's there, and then during the next three,
I mean,
4 days, you'll
honestly, you are
see,
seeing it. I saw. I
yeah,
was going to
yeah,
say, but you are
you'll see,
seeing it. You just don't realize it because
yes,
most
but
of
I
the
mean, also
clouds,
there's just sometimes it's closer than other times. Sometimes
right?
it's
But
very much in view, and then other times it's a little bit more blurry and in the distance. This
most
is
of
what
the
happened
clouds we
this last
see,
week.
Oh,
It
they
was
do
it was
move.
a little blurry and at a distance, and then it just came in closer and closer, caused the fog, caused the light shafts like this, and then on the third, fourth day, bam, pass. And then it just goes away a little further, and then you have the cycle start all over again. It's just if you learn to know what to look for, you'll start to see these patterns, and you'll even know you'll see the effects and everything as it's happening.
Okay, I sent you those three. I've got tons more that
okay,
are just even cooler
those
or
are
as
really.
cool.
This one is really cool. I love
That's
it.
the
Okay.
oldest, earliest one. And when we first saw that, I just went, "Oh my God, look at this!" Because you'll never see this in space. And it was small enough back then, and that was 2016 ish, and it might even be printed on that photo. It's a really well used photo going back many years, which is why I have a copy of it still after a loss. But anyway,
Yeah.
we're looking at this white cloud in the picture in front of us. And if you look at it, that is the bottom of Nepesity open core. And we have seen this shape over
Okay.
and over again in nighttime footage. And then what she's developing right now is one of the oldest ones, example of that, with a slightly different axis tip to it. And it's a phenomenal, absolutely. I love this picture.
Bear with me. It's gonna be good. It's
I'll
worth
get
the
out my
wait.
whip.
All right, hold up. Making it big. All right. I gotta perfect it, make it right. Okay.
And this, of course, is the left hand side of only showing us half of the open core of Nepesity. But if you look up into above that, there's a little touch of green and showing you the round face of the overall planet above it.
I don't know if Christopher is still listening, but he's been trying to, I've noticed in comments, he's been trying to learn how to identify what we're talking about here, the open
Yes,
core
there's
activity.
there when volcanoes blow, there's lightning that's produced because of all the discharge, the breakup of stored energy and rock, and everything has a charge. We're electric. The ground is electric. Trees are electric. They have a life force that we don't account for, and that's part of the electric universe issue that Einstein didn't even touch. So yeah, there's a lot to it, and this is of course going to be the new physics and the new sciences that we're going to. Yeah, that's not but that's an example of it. Well, where's that other one? Did you
You
already
want the
put that
green
other one up?
one?
Yeah, that one. I just absolutely. I'm sorry,
Okay.
I apparently looked away. Uh, this is the open core, and it's tipped at an axis since it was 2016. And I was correct. Good. I knew what the hell I was talking about. Um, yeah, this is the bottom of open core Nepesity in 2016 when she was still much smaller. Okay, now go to the next picture. And here's
Okay.
another. It's another nighttime sighting, and there is the open core of Nepesity as well, and we've seen it over and over again. And I've got tons more pictures if you
I
want.
love this one. That is wild looking. I mean, I guess people just thought it was a
Yeah, and
cloud, maybe, you know?
yeah, but when you get a dome illuminating and when there's no other clouds anywhere else.
Yeah,
You know,
I
I'll
know. It
grab
doesn't
you.
make any
I'll grab you
sense.
another one or so if you want, if you can, because I mean these are all
So,
old
like,
sightings.
is this like Nepicity just like skidding by or something? Like, is that what is happening?
Oh
Open
no, there's
core? What is
illumination,
that?
and it's the transfer we were just talking about, that super highway between bodies and planets.
See, this
No,
always confuses me. This honestly to me looks like an asteroid.
well, it's not. You're seeing the illuminated south pole of the body of the planet. It's
I
like,
I, I see that. I kind of see it, but judging if this was
let's see
like
if I can get a better.
judging off the first look, this looks like I would have guessed an asteroid, but it seems oddly illuminated. But I see what you mean because it's
And
illuminated in a way where it's
yeah, and we knew that Nepesity behaved like that because of the early sightings. And I'll I'll grab you an example of why we knew that, because it's a really old shot, and I'll hand that to Rebecca now, and then it's shape identification, and I'll go and I'll grab a smaller, older version of it, illuminating, but yet the same as this. And this is like I think a 2018-19 shot of bottom of Nepesity. When we first started realizing she had the snorkel core development, and then followed attributed later on by the rain bombs and all of that. And N-O. Nepesity is in the N file, of course. And all right. Still going through the O's.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm starting a new SAM file.
Oh.
I mean, I'll try it and see if that makes a difference. SAM picks 2.
I'm trying to show illumination and yet open core at the daytime. Here's a nighttime 2000, or yeah, you can see the ion bleed off is different angle from the
Yeah,
core, which shows you the
I
electricity.
remember.
And
I
there was a
remember you sharing that like years ago, like, long time.
and it's a repeated pattern that we watched and watched and watched. And here's a far extreme example of that. And the last one I just sent you was the one I was looking for before this one. But anyway, I will go back to StreamYard. Yeah, now that's the open illuminated, because it illuminates just like office tube lighting. They have power on one end of the tube and power on the other end of the tube, and there's no core element. The gases inside become accelerated, and that's why they light up. And the bottom of the planet, just like all the planets, ever since the second star got here, all the planets' poles started illuminating. and this is an illuminating bottom of the planet.
Got it. Almost.
There's hexagon shapes over the top of Earth right now, which is why we have all of the horrendous aurora borealis is going on. And this is the bottom aurora borealis of the southern pole of Nepenthe, and it illuminates because of the ion transfer and the acceleration of particles within its atmosphere. And we've seen this countless pattern year after year after year, and this goes all the way back to literally 2015, 16, 17. And then the next one, she can show you that
was
as
way
well.
faster.
Okay, and here, there is the bottom of that. And we know that there's asteroids, a little 3-pack underneath the bottom of Nepenthe, and you can see them dead center. And I've often wondered if the 3-pack is actually the big 3. We've never completely crossed the street on that one, but I'm tending to believe it is. And there's the open, and the axis is more tipped. But if we went, to some of the other, like the next picture as well, you'll see.
Let me find the right drawing for it.
Okay.
I think. Yeah, hang on a second. While we're at it, and David's here, guys.
Hi, David. To subarctic, I just gotta say, a lot of people think we're nuts. It kind of comes with the territory.
Hell, part of us thinks we're nuts.
Yeah, even I think we're nuts. And honestly, you have to be a little nuts to actually
I fully
get with this. You do it because it's so out there that in order to accept it, you have to just have a wild.
And we've taken the time to prove it because we got to watch this stuff happen.
The thing is that we know how crazy this sounds, but we've also taken the time to actually see it. If we hadn't actually seen it, I get it. Trust me, I get it. This is nuts. It's absolutely insane.
It goes against everything we were ever taught.
It's crazy. I get it, but if it wasn't because we see it over and over, we wouldn't be here.
Which is why we do the worldwide.
Anybody can see it. I mean, you just gotta train yourself what to look for because anybody.
And we've learned the base clouds. We've learned the patterns of what these planets look like from when they came in, and back when they were really small, compared to the even bigger ones, which was weird because we got a weird comparison. I mean, the enormous ones are so enormous, it's insane. And then the smaller planets, which we normally accept, even normally at the time, came in and they got bigger and bigger and bigger, and then now they're so huge, and we've taken this path and we documented it from sightings from around the world for like we said 1,000 times for 13 years. And so because of this transition and learned information is why we're doing what we're doing and why we know we're correct and we're right. And we can attribute this to this planet and this to this planet. And we know what they look like color wise. We know kind of how big they are. We know what their land masses look like, what their atmospheres are like, and the order that they're in. And the cycles that they pass yearly and all of this.
Unfortunately, not everybody is going to take the time to learn this. So
oh my God,
I get it. Like, it's not something that you could explain to somebody and they're going to learn within a couple of months. It takes a little bit of time. It's why we're doing these so we can speed up that learning process.
If I started doing this tomorrow, if I just started this, I wouldn't know anywhere near what we know. It takes
a little time, and not everybody's willing to put in the time to see it, and that's kind of gets me a little frustrated because it's only the few of us that actually get with it and actually obsess over it.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Want to learn something, especially now in the TikTok era. We have people who can't even stick around and see a video that's 90 seconds long. I get on my Facebook channel, my YouTube channel, they give me graphs where they tell me, okay, so many people started watching your video and then they stopped watching after a minute, after 2 minutes, after however minute long. And I got to tell you, like 70% of the people don't watch the entire video. And I post really short videos purposely because I know how people are these days, that you need to get their attention quickly and you need to hold it and you need to get your point across as quickly as possible, because we live in a TikTok era where people don't want to spend the time, and that's the biggest problem with this information, is that it takes time to learn. You
That's
know?
why we do 8 hour long podcasts, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We
Right, we're class is in session.
yeah, we get told that all the time. We've been told, to kind of try to keep it a little
Yeah.
shorter, and I think we've done a little bit better, but
Well, yeah, we
it
left
is
high school. We're in college level here. You got to take notes, man.
it's a big topic, guys, and it's not one that you're gonna learn in just a couple of episodes, a couple of
Yeah.
shows. It's gonna take you a little time to really see it. I was telling Chris the other day, Christopher, the from Las Vegas. I was telling him, just keep at it. In time, you will have your aha moment, and you will see them as clear as day. I'm sure he sees some of it now, but
The hallelujah moment. Yeah.
the longer you stick with it, Christopher, the more you will see them very pronounced, and you will see exactly what you're looking at.
That's right. Yeah. It it gets to where you can't help but see, constantly,
Yeah, I'm at the
and you
point now where
notice.
I think everybody else is crazy for not seeing it.
Or
Everybody
not
thinks I'm
at
crazy.
least
I think the other
questioning
people are the
more.
crazy ones. Like, how are you not questioning what's happening?
Yeah. How
One
do you
thing's
not
not.
notice the light issue?
Yeah, yeah. How do you not notice that our skies have completely changed? I mean, one thing is not making the connection that it's planets, but another thing is not questioning anything at all. You know, I will say, I it took me years to learn, but I did question this very early on. Like, there was things that I was seeing in the sky that I made no sense to me.
Oh, the
I mean,
extreme weather.
it's something so constant in our lives. How are you not going to notice that the moon is not right, that our phases of the moon are not right, when we've been seeing the same phases of the moon for as long as I could remember, and all of a sudden one day they change and nobody notices? That's crazy to me. That's the craziest part of all this, is how
Oh,
people
it's
just
shocking.
accept this like it's normal, like nothing is happening. That's the crazy part, man.
I don't think people have a spectrum to pay attention to, and it does take time to go, hey, that doesn't look like it used to. And then some people, then they start doubting themselves, going, well, maybe I don't remember correctly. And you should trust your memory. You should, when you're being told something's wrong, and your subconscious or your psyche or whatever you want to attribute the source, or whatever you want to attribute it to, is you get that little tap in your brain where you're the guy sitting on your shoulder says, I don't remember this before. Listen to it, because I mean, this is what we've been doing, and why we were all drawn here.
Yeah,
And you know,
that little thing, that little gut feeling that you have that something is wrong, that something's different, just go with it and pay attention to it, because that's what brought all of us here. I went 2 years without it drove me nuts. I was going out of my mind, with curiosity, where I just could not find what it was. I went down every rabbit hole imaginable. I thought it was, at one point I thought it was, before I found Sam. I was like, well, it could be all the pollution, all the radiation coming from Fukushima. That was probably my last rabbit hole that I went down,
no, I got it all.
until eventually I got to Sam and Jamie first, and then Sam, and then I was like, okay, this fits. This absolutely fits. And then I just went down that rabbit hole, and I never questioned it again, because it just becomes clear. The more you stick with it, and the more you learn, the more one theory proves the other one, and then you just keep doing that and doing that over and over, until you're like, holy crap, like this is it, like this is the truth, like this is finally
Yeah, in the early
I've
years,
been
we were
looking
all
for years.
we were checking North Pole and watching the gravitational magnetation on the planet change drastically, and then 2 days later it would be back to normal, and we're all going, "Whoa, that was weird." And um, let's even talk about the trumpets in the sky bit, or the harmonic sounds all around planet Earth as of 2011. And if you can find one of those, Rebecca, and pull it up.
Sorry,
The
which ones?
strange sounds in the sky, 2011
Yes,
Australia, for example. That's when
I
we
got that.
they heard it the best at the beginning, and then later on, within a year or 6, 8 months after that, we started in the northern hemisphere, and there you can even look up strange sounds in the sky, Missoula, Montana, where I live, and we heard them, and I do hear them still occasionally. But back then, when they first started coming in, now that harmonic is also part of that electrical exchange. I've often thought about it like a finger rubbing on a crystal glass, where we've got a harmonic rub occurring. And if you can pull one of those videos up,
I have,
and
yeah, I actually have it. I'm trying to remember what I entered it as, but it's not coming up one no
or you
matter
yeah,
what.
or you maybe find a faster one. But I mean, they're all over. These
I'll
just
get it.
strange sounds in the sky. The
Yeah.
best one
That's
is
weird.
Australia.
To me, it's kind of like one of those whistles for dogs that you won't hear, but the dog really is affected by it.
Oh God, I wish I
My
could say that.
ears, I don't hear it loudly, like as
There's
you're
days
saying.
I can't hear anything
But
else.
it affects my ears, something awful. Like I'll be deaf for weeks at a
Oh, well,
time.
there's days up here I'm
I
walking around and I'm seasick.
I get earaches. I've had an earache since God, since probably 2014, probably a few years before that, where and they haven't gone away. I don't hear the trumpets. I've never really had that
Oh,
experience, but
wow.
I do have where my ears start ringing, where my ears just start, that
Um,
loud
it was really bad. It was
alarm
really
thing that
bad in
goes off.
Canada for a long time.
I haven't heard it that way. I feel it through my ears. A lot of my
Oh yeah.
senses come
Well,
through my
you
ears.
were also not in the early days of Montana Skywatcher One, and
That's right.
that's where
That's right.
we were running a lot of that information in the Sky Sounds for a very long time.
Yeah, I missed that. I missed a lot of that, but I do know that my ears are definitely affected by it because I've been dealing with it for years. Or my ears just hurt. I get earaches, and then it gives me headaches,
Right.
and then as soon as and there is some kind of a correlation between close passes, because and health in general. Like I'll be fine, right, and then I'll have these days where I just absolutely feel like crap, right?
Right. No,
Then
no energy. You don't feel good.
no,
You're
yes, and then they'll be distant where they're not really that close, and I'll feel great. I'll
right.
have the best few days, and then that cycle keeps coming back and forth, and that's what it's been like for me, at least.
A
And I
couple of
know
weeks
for a
there,
lot of people, but
like a month
to
ago, a couple of
me,
weeks ago, I was
and
like
I
seasick.
do feel I'm very sensitive to it because I do have some really, really bad days with it, and it just comes out of nowhere. And right now, my
I get
health, I've been at it with my doctor, and my health is good, and my A1Cs are great. Everything is great right now. So
Good, good.
health wise, I'm doing fine, but I do
Yeah, you're
feel
gonna have a good year. You're gonna be lucky.
it's been health wise. This year has been very productive for me.
Good, good.
I've got a lot of my things in
what's
check.
my
I
year gonna be
got to the
like?
point where I was pre-diabetic, and then I got my A1Cs down now to normal.
Busy.
And
You're gonna overwork
Yeah,
yourself like
that's
usual.
been a very good
uh,
year. I've lost a little more
yes,
weight. I'm a little bit more I'm a lot more active than I was. So
that's
now I
good.
just have these earaches and these things that I know it has nothing to do with my health because my health is fine. So
Well, there's always the tinnitus tricks where you take the spoon and set it up to your side of your ear and hit it with another spoon, and they say that corrects your hearing. And then there's the hot water, in the shower routine in your ear for long periods of time, and that washes some of the crud out. And then if it's not sinus related, which can be the pollution that you're also suffering, which can
yeah,
affect
yeah,
your ears.
absolutely.
And
I felt that the first month that I moved to Salt Lake, I was it was those first few months were pretty rough for me with sinus headaches.
if you get
That was the peak.
earaches and a sinus headache, if you push on your cheekbones just slightly closer to your nose and push in like that and hold it like that for like a minute, it'll relieve that pressure.
What is
Really.
that, man? What the hell?
That's one of the examples. Yeah,
Crazy.
That's what you're talking about, right?
right.
Yeah.
And there's different variations of it. If you were to type in "strange sounds in the sky, Canada," you'll get a different variation of
What's
it.
that, man?
Yeah.
What the
Right. That would freak me out. I
and
would be
and
freaking out.
we heard it about. It was recorded here in Missoula, just a few miles north of me here. I'm from Missoula, but I live in a suburb of Lolo. Anyway, um, we heard it up here about 2012 numerous times, 13, 14, 16, 18. You'd go outside and you just hear it. And it's like big galactic spaceships honking their horns at each other. I mean, it's just unbelievable. But I've always believed it to be a harmonic rub between the planets. Sort of,
Hi,
you know,
Rocket Man.
when they're rubbing, their atmosphere starts, or their electrical rubs into our electrical, we're hearing a harmonic, because sound equals light equals matter, and so sound is the basis of the electrical exchange.
Thank you, Christopher. That's really nice of you to say. Um, but I think sometimes it's atmospheric, Sam, and sometimes it's plate tectonic
Yeah, and
activity.
I've always been spun on which one exactly that was. Yeah, right. I agree with you totally. And it could be rubbing plate tectonics, rubbing together and creating that harmonic, but just like a finger on a crystal glass. Because a good portion of our soil underneath us is made of crystal, because the different ranges of Precambrian rock, et cetera. When you like, some of the oldest rock is like 4.2 million years where it's solid, and in different variations of pressure, they create a lot of different crystals, which is most of the elements and separations and leachings and silver and lead and gold and mercury and you name it. And that's all variations of pressurization and upheaval from lava, which turns into other rock, which gets buried under other rock, which gets buried under other rock. And then when it gets smashed and smashed by all the weight and the weight and the weight on top of all these other things, form and leach out of it according to gases, pressurization, electrical discharge between plates. And I've always believed that gold is a slag of those tectonic plates, because if you look at quartz crystals, they're usually form in a slide plate between two fractures of living host rock. And then it's this occurrence where they talk about steam pressurization interjected into the rock, and then the leaching of the minerals out in certain electronic compounds. I don't think they're taking into account the electrical discharge between the plates when those plates are rubbing together. There's electricity going on, and Earth has 235 volts. So there's a lot to chemistry and subatomic chemistry that I don't think geologic formation takes into account. And like any of the other sciences as well, I don't think they take into the account of the electrical universe, including us being electric.
That really probably is not in the forethought of most people.
Right, and
You know,
our interactions between our planets is also electric, and that's why they don't crash into us, because they
too
electrically
bad they
discharge.
don't teach that. Surely they know that. They, whoever they are, they
Well,
know
generally,
that
we
is
separate
vital.
everything. We're talking about geology, or we're talking
Yes.
about chemistry, or we're talking about oceanic this, or or atmospheric that, and I don't think people cross reference that that water is thick air and air is thin water, and they're part of each other, and yet they're not, but they're part of the system of our entire atmosphere going all the way up.
That is the craziest thing, but it makes absolute sense to me. But up until the time that you mentioned that, Sam, I never even thought about that.
Well, we can't separate the sciences. They're all part of each other, because we're part. And this is what Einstein did, saying, "Well, our world, we exist in this, and we're in a gravity well, which is a separate something from our star that's doing this, and then there's dark matter that holds us back, and we don't know what dark matter is, blah blah blah." No, excuse me, but it's all connected. It's all connected. Electrical placement. We aren't coming in. We're not rolling into the sun. We're placed between here and the sun because of what we are and what we weigh and our atomic structure, and compared to both solar systems attached to each other, all placed. Which is why the Nibiru system and its planets do not steal other planets away from each other, because they're opposing polarity attached to the same thing, and it's all part of one structure. And all of that is intermittently connected electrically in subatomic space to astroatomic space. It's all connected. from the rocks to the beetles crawling on the log to the birds flying in the air to the stars. We're all connected to our universe.
That
into
whole
each other.
the whole gravity well, that just sounds like a bunch of crap to me. It doesn't even there's like no basis in reality at all. There's some invisible gravity well thing. It's just
Well, that runs off of
I
Newton and
never was
gravity.
satisfied with that explanation. It just seems stupid to me. It just does.
Well, I got yelled at, and this is what they screamed at me in 1984 by the top level DC scientists at the time. And how dare you think you're smarter than Einstein and Newton? And here prior to that, they had actually given me test scores, which they themselves had told me that I was. So they were sort of kind of debating a moot point and trying to insult me at the same time because they felt that I was messing with their science. I've never gotten over that. And I yelled right back at them. I said, hey, you invited me here, remember? Um, so, and then they don't slap you with a 30-year non-disclosure agreement for being wrong. So yeah, I've never made any sense out of that either because everything is connected. You can't separate anything, as above, so below, and all of that, and the dimensions, and we're a larger segment of a small, and there's a larger segment of us, which is another dimension, and nobody thinks about that, and our universe is this big cell, and it's called shirt sleeve syndrome. We're the cell in the side of some giant's shirt sleeve is the idea. And so it's all connected. And it just depends on how far your brain wants to go through that uh, Fibonacci sequence of how bigger and bigger of the same thing, of the same pattern, but yet bigger and bigger. I love Fibonacci sequences. I haven't watched one in a long time. And those are really cool to watch, on, and then listen to techno music, man. I loved it. Yeah, we're literally a Fibonacci sequence within a Fibonacci sequence within a Fibonacci sequence, and we're all attached. All little shrouds of the larger example and the larger example and the larger example and even smaller.
So I was hearing this new theory that some scientists put out there that where there's evidence. Well, they say that there's evidence being observed now that we're not separate from the sun, that we are literally connected, like a thread connected to it.
Bingo. And I've been saying that for how many years?
And I was like, okay, this is exactly correlates with what we've been
Yeah,
studying
thread
for years.
connection. And that's the same that same thread connection is the bleed off of the lights at night that we just showed here a few minutes ago. Is that's a thread electrical connection, and it's a super highway. It's a pathway where the accelerated ions just rise up and transfer over to the larger passing body in space above us. And those never used to exist. And everybody said, "Oh, that's just ice crystals." No, and then light shining through that. No, no, not when they go that high. And it's not just a photographic occasion. This has been happening around the world for the longest times, and it's always in groups. And it's not just an occasional hey, Canadian photograph over the tundra.
Yeah, yeah, that's interesting. That is
And this
interesting. That was
it's
another
chemistry
theory.
compounding.
That was another theory of your old pal Sam. That he was saying that sometimes when you would see the planets in front and you'd still see the sun. It wasn't really the sun you were
Right,
seeing.
and he got that from me. I had to teach him that.
Really? Okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I
um,
had to I took a long time teaching him that stuff, and
yeah. So
I
he's telling me that basically what you're seeing was kind of like one of those. What do you call those? Electro lamp things. It's kind of like
yeah,
a snow globe, but it's
right,
it's
right.
like an electric thing, and you put your
I
hand.
just looked at those for Christmas. They're actually quite cheap now, and
What
I
are they
can't even
called?
pull
I
the
can't
name. I
remember.
can't pull the name out of my head either.
Um,
It's a little ball, and you touch it, and the little electricity jumps to your finger. It's plasma ball,
a
plasma.
plasma ball. Yeah.
Yeah,
So basically, what he's saying was a plasma ball is basically. He said, as I put my fingers on the plasma ball, and there's that thread connection. That's basically
right,
the
right,
planets. Is
and
that
right,
there's
and we are thread connected to our star, and that's why we don't always go into complete darkness. by having a body in front of us, and
Yes,
that
yes.
that runs on the same technology as to why the Nibiru system has a man-made or being-made mini star to enhance their thread connection. And that I think has a great deal to do with why all the planets are as remotely close to each other as they are. I have a funny feeling their technology has allowed them to alter their orbit, so that they can remain within the Goldilocks zone, so they don't suffer passing ice ages like we
So
do.
they've learned to manipulate that thread.
I have information going to the Tool
That's
Star,
that's
and
interesting. That's fascinating. And it's not really that far fetched. I mean, if you learn how to manipulate electricity, I mean, I'm sure you could manipulate certain things.
yeah, and the creation of a mini star, it could be
Yeah,
a
yeah, that's
technological base
fascinating.
that does certain other things as well in a connection of the overall. You could even be dealing with time space continuum to, God only knows, astral connection to other galaxies. Who knows? Seventh marker, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It could all that all. I'm sure all of that is interwoven in the chemistry equation of the subatomic and astroatomic universe, all being linked.
And because there's been times where I see what's clearly a planet pretty much in front of where the sun would be, and there's this what looks like a sunspot, but it doesn't look like the sun at all. It looks like it's bright like the sun, but it doesn't look like the sun. It's more like a smear. It looks like a smear on the planet, and I
On shaft
always
light. I
and
always
I
tell people, look at the shaft, look at the angle of the shaft. If it rounds
yeah, yeah,
sideways,
but as sometimes it's obvious it's a shaft light, but sometimes it looks more like what you were just saying, like the where the thread is attached.
yeah, we're
You know?
directly attached to our star, and that's why we stay where we stay. And that's why uh, Jupiter is where Jupiter is, and Saturn is where Saturn, and Uranus is another gas giant, and why they haven't with their atomic mass. If we were in a gravitational system, wouldn't those larger, heavier planets with electron clusters heavy enough to gather space gases, wouldn't they be at the center of our solar system? And then wouldn't we also be paradoxical over time, where the planets would argue with each other and crash into each other and all of that shit?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yet, and this is why I've never agreed with the Einstein dinner plate, which is why I wrote my paper in the first place. According to what I understood, had to do with atomic structure in chemistry. And so my supposition went one step farther, saying, well, our solar system, being that it's got this weird, odd jog in aberration in our orbit, and this is where they account for Planet X. And then back in the 70s, it was understood that, we believed there was another object or body out there, that this rogue thing that was affecting our orbit. And that's where I went, I see more than that, because the atomic structure made more sense that we had to have two atoms or two stars,
Yeah.
a two atom compound rather than a single atomic element. We were a connected compound, not just an element, and we're connected, and our placement exists. And that's why every 3,654 years we cross paths and go about our normal rotational spiral behind our two stars, who are co-spiraling at a distance, and they separate from each other, and then they spiral in and cross paths from each other every 3,654 years, with the other planets easily pushing each other because of their connected thread attached placement. And we do mixed
Wow.
closeness, like boats going through a small marina area. We have to be careful amongst each other, but because of our structure being attached fully, complete, connected to each other, we go ships passing in the night, because it's like a carnival ride on poles that hold us in place.
Hmm.
That's
It just
interesting.
sounds like everything's like so well
Well,
balanced,
we know that the planets pass by every
Yeah.
3,654 years. Now we know that within the last 300,000 years, there's been 83.3 cycles. So therefore, nothing crashed into each other and killed us all, and we're standing here talking about it today. So therefore,
Yeah.
it can't be paradoxical. It has to be a regularly occurring event.
It
So
it's like
therefore,
clockwork. I mean, all the time lapse videos I watch, it just looks like everything moves so perfectly in sync, in unison, like a clock mechanism.
and we see it on a certain cycle of about 18 hours, 20 hours. I never actually timed it, but it's faster moving than our 24-hour cycle because we see the transition, and yet the next day at 3 o'clock, and then the event happens, and the next day at 2:30 it happens, or whatever. And
Yeah,
it's been self-evident to me that it wasn't paradoxical because we know that this happens over and over and over again, and we know that the occupiers of the other races of the other part of our solar binary solar system, other people who live over there, um, have the system in place the way it is that we know it has been occurring, and including our back history and origins of man and early civilization that we have recorded and throughout history, also fits all into place. And therefore, it becomes very self evident that this is a normal, functioning, yet very duplicitous binary solar system. And then you have to have that second star because they could not live without one.
right.
But
Which
I like the way you put it in one of the shows you had with what
Radio
is it?
Wasteland.
Real Wasteland. You said that you can't have rogue planets that are just out there running around, and because we know that these systems last for millions of years, so there has to be some kind of structure to it and some kind of
Billions with a B, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That
And we
there
wouldn't we
has
wouldn't
to be
exist.
some kind of rule, some kind of thing that keeps everything just in a cycle. The way
Well, we
like
know there's transition, we know there's change, we know that there's the oddball asteroid material that does come into our area and does affect us, and the examples of that are on the face of the moon and all over Earth, where we've been hit by numerous asteroids. And we know that there's cyclic changes because we know there's ice ages. And then we also know there's periods of no ice age. And so, because there is evidence of all of these stuff, we do know that there is a variant to our orbit. But yet, at the overall, we know that the cycle happens every 3,654 years, according to Zachariah Sitchin and some of the Sumerian information, blah, 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 and Colburn Bible, and all this other stuff.
do
So
you do
there are
you,
certain steps. Go ahead.
no, go. I want to hear you finish.
Well, we know there are certain steps of self-evident material that we do take for granted, and that has gotten us to some of these stages. But we've also had obvious behavior patterns. Like an example is like in 2013, I thought we were in deep shit. I thought we were going to get pasted by all of those asteroids underneath uh, Atu and Atu's moon and Uri, and yet then year after year we watch them come really close and discharge and cause freak storms and all kinds of volcanic activity and stuff like this, and yet they didn't crash into us.
Yeah, because
And
I
so
remember you seeing some of the first videos I saw of
sorry.
understanding the skies. You said that these were gonna hit us eventually,
yeah,
and
I
we've been
I
watching
thought
them,
that they were
and yeah, small things have come through, but we haven't
yeah,
had
the Charlie
uh,
Binsk event from
yeah,
Russia,
we
yeah.
haven't had a major event like that, and as we've
And
seen more and we've learned more, we see why. But my
right.
question was going to be, Sam, do you feel that maybe each cycle gets a little less chaotic than the previous one, or do you think it's just random?
I think we've gone past a stage, but then I also I can't tell you what's going to occur through next year with the
Yeah,
heat
yeah,
because
of course.
and post
I
passes.
do
We
think
don't
that
know.
there's no knowing, but do you think that there was previous cycles that were a little bit more chaotic than the
Yeah,
ones
well,
where?
yeah, 2018, 19 was very chaotic as far as the close passes, and then we saw the cataloged events in Canada. We saw the Ohio derecho. We saw the Arizona storms and all the other over the mini. But then we don't know what once they go past Earth, if they're going to still be a close proximity, and we're still going to be dealing with the rotating asteroid groups as they're on the other side of us, which might actually start creating nighttime events and illuminations that we've never seen in freak skies, and we could have unbelievable aurora borealises for the next 20 years that we've never seen the likes of. So there's really no telling.
We're already seeing some of that, Sam.
Yeah, but there's no telling what once they go past us, everything's going to do. And then, of course, we're still what we think, according to even Michelle in South Africa, we believe the separating sun scenario, and where are we going to go from that, and how hard are we going to get? And then I think we're seeing examples of that in what they're calling the super El Nino right now, and our unbelievably weird weather. Well, this side of the planet is doing great, and if you look over in Russia and China right now, they're snowing their asses off like they were the North Pole. So, and we know that the North Pole has drastically moved, and I mean those poor folks over there are in the middle of the Arctic winter from hell right now, and it's quite nasty. Unless I'm getting my media wrong. And over here, we're basking in 50-degree weather and 60-degree weather. Right now, here it says it's 16 degrees here, and we're cold and completely clouded in. So, and we have a big storm coming in too from Seattle. But yeah,
39 here, 39.
I don't know what's going to happen. I know that the planet of passing is going to give us some more chaos yet. I hope it gets easier. I'm not sure it is. I think it's going to get hotter. I think we're going to be in an emergency situation. I think we're going to have loss of food. I think
the climate change is probably one that happens every cycle for sure. But
there's record of it.
Discharges and that kind of stuff is what I think. And I think that's one that me and Jamie agree.
We might have another 2 years, 3 years of that, or 4. I mean, we thought it was anywhere from 7 to 11 years in, so it might be 7, 11 out. And the transition. Now we knew that a lot of the discharging between the object cluster group and Atu and Uri and all of that, and the other smaller existing planets did occur on the way in, and then it started discharging off Earth.
2018, Sam, I saw some of the scariest discharges I've ever seen. Like
yeah. The old Red Sonja storm from hell.
Yes, absolutely intense stuff. I haven't seen nothing of the sort since. But
we are right at Boxing Day again.
2018 was one of those years where it would wake up a dead man. Like it's just one of those things that if you weren't paying attention in 2018, you're just brain dead, because there's so much happened in 2018 that
it was unbelievable.
It was really I started in around 2014 when I started asking questions, but 2018 so many things happened that I was like, this thing with Sam, there's just no way it's not true, because there's a lot of really, really scary shit happened that year.
You can turn it up more so we can hear it.
Okay.
I turn my volume up.
I don't want to.
My favorite Nibiru song.
I got it. Well, I found a minute clip on TikTok that I won't get hit with copyright, as far as I know.
Oh yeah, well I like the 11-hour loop one, but
I know. There's a copyright on the main one, but yeah, it's really pretty.
Yeah, I was thinking of a humorous one, something. Ponies dancing with rainbows, rainbow ponies.
Rocket Man is making a comment. It says, feels like an ice planet is coming over us. I had in 2018 a close pass of Atu's moon. Very, very close pass. And I'm still looking for that video. It's a little difficult because it's kind of a very pre-dawn video. But the temperatures dropped 25, 30, maybe 40 degrees.
I remember feeling that.
It was to the point where I couldn't hold my camera. My hands were freezing. I had to go inside and warm up because it was so cold. It was so cold. And it just happened in a matter of 10 minutes. I mean, the temperatures just dropped insanely down. It was so freaking cold. And it was because moons are cold. Moons are dead bodies, basically. They have no atmosphere. really cold
And
bodies.
you have to take into account shadowing too.
That too, because it was right above us. So you have shadowing, you have a cold, a cold body above you. And it was it was a learning experience. That whole year was a lot of
Yeah,
what I learned. I think I learned it in 2018 because a lot of things happened that year that were really
we were watching
teachable
that on the
moments.
radar too, where you could actually see the planets pass over the continents in an opposite direction of the sunrise sunset, and you knew that it was completely the wrong direction for anything to cause a shadow over the planet, and yet you watch the time lapse, and there goes this big. Remember? Do you remember it was about
I remember you
2018, 19,
posting those, Sam. I remember you posting those
and the whole West Coast
radar
was cast in
radar
shadow.
radar
Yeah.
images with these insane huge shadows
Yeah, where literally the whole
just
West Coast would dump into shadow, and you could watch it on set with a rounded edge across the whole damn planet. And it's the opposite direction of the sun coming up and then going across the planet. And I was posting that for a couple of years, and I think they took that away, where you can't get those time lapses anymore, which is why I stopped posting them. But here it is, direct examples of round faced planets. There's a red Sonja storm for you, where these planet shadows come over the top of the planet, and the temperature would drop and the weather would change, and we were documenting on that was the 2018, 19, 20 time. Yeah, you're exactly right. The coolest red Sonja storms we ever saw. And then again, I don't know what's going to happen when they're completely above us overhead. Are we going to see when Nibiru goes completely over the top of us, or when Uri goes over the top of us, and Saru goes over the top of us? Are we going to see major earthquakes? Are we going to see tectonic plates shift? Are entire regions of land going to move? We don't know. So, and that's all within the spectrum. It could get worse. It could hopefully get less. I foresee that we're going to be really hot, because the end of a part of the end of Egypt occurred where they lost complete control of their Egyptian dynasty and power and leadership between the northern dynasty and the southern power, where they ended up giving into the Nubians and everybody else, and into a lower Egypt situation, being in power, and then the other regions in the Palestinian area took over, and that was during a major climate change right at the 1650s BC. Of course, estimate, and there was two major climate changes. One was a couple hundred years prior to that, which also affected the Egyptian dynasties as well. And that's where the transition of northern Africa went completely fully to desert, and I don't think they've attributed how soon that was after the Ice Age, but just after the Ice Age, 25,000 years ago, the northern half of Africa was not a desert. It was a very lush, fertile land. And I believe that's the origins of Atlantis as well.
I mean, it seems like it's heading back that way, like it's turning lush and
Well,
green
yeah,
again.
look what's happening. Right now in the Arab desert countries are flooding, and
Flooding.
this of course got them screaming, "Oh, it is the end times! It's the end times!" Because Allah said, and Muhammad said this, and in the Quran and all of that. And I check into that in their translations. And now, like I said, they had the flooding last week where the Hajj, and they couldn't do the walk around the square and all of that. And now they've got the people now that it's drained, now they've got a locust infestation from the rain.
Oh boy.
So they're looking at it, okay, like this is another plague. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, I have a clip here of some current events if you want to watch that for a few minutes.
Yeah, I wonder. We also need to look back at that SOTT weather for November. I don't think I've seen that yet. Yeah, that's a discharge storm, and notice the purple lightning, and there you see an illuminated whole freaking planet.
Jesus Christ, that is crazy.
Yeah, that's purple lightning, and that's discharge between the object cluster group Attu and Attu's moon. See that? That's Attu's moon that we just saw. There it is again.
Jesus.
I'll have to go on
There it
my
is again.
app
And
and
then that was the red asteroid.
screenshot that. Wow. Okay. I need to slow this down.
That is, yeah, there's big round objects in this, discharging. And this is, of course, what we were worried about at the end of the 180-day cycle that we thought would go away into December. And this is a prime example, and it's all purple. Look at the purple lightning.
Yeah.
That big round flash. You're looking at a large planet there.
I was going to say, look at the background of our screen tonight. Those big purple planets, kind of envision.
And
It's
they
what's
are that
really
big and that
there.
huge. And yes, you're seeing
Yeah.
them at night. But they're
They
there,
are. And this was just water coming out of the ground.
Liquefaction from seismic activity.
Yeah, right, like a mud flood. Wow.
Kind of looks like that might be the onset of the waves in the Russian storms from at the beginning of the month, because they had a tidal rush, and that's probably coming.
I can't tell. Is that by the ocean?
Yeah, they had the Black Sea and everything was just blowing on shore, and they had tidal waves and all sorts of really, really rough weather and flooding. You're looking at onset flooding, and yes, it is fast. A mini tsunami.
Whoever's recording is really brave. I'd gotta get the hell out of there.
Yeah,
I'd be in the house packing up my crap and trying to load it into the car as fast as I can, because if it comes up that fast, how much deeper is it going to get?
Look at how it just flooded that entire area.
Look how weird the lighting is.
Jesus.
It's a gray, almost surreal footage.
No, he was on a bench. I thought he was on a bridge. Wow, you need to get the hell out of there.
You better run. Yeah, you're not going to be able to drive out of there before you know it. There goes down the road.
Jesus.
Tell me this is normal.
You want to see him pant to the sky.
He's kind of like us. Don't you know? If it was us, we'd be out there probably too. I don't know.
Well, we'd be standing in 2 foot of water before we
I'd
realized.
be trying to get the footage I could.
I'd be filming up and not notice that I'm getting swamped in by the oncoming flood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always look up first. I mean, I'm watching movies on TV or on YouTube, and I'm looking at the sky, not what they're talking about.
Yeah, same.
Rocketman says it was cool, and Avengers said, yeah, that's crazy. Yep, I agree. And it's normal. LOL. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. It just blew that truck by. Let's go replay
people should
it.
look up what happened on the Gold Coast in Australia on Christmas Day. It's pretty wild what they had. I mean, they had major disaster hit Australia yesterday.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'll check it. I'm curious.
Got you going.
I know.
To subarctic, yes, mainstream news does suck. You have to seek out this information from alternative sources.
We're the alternative source.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, because it's just like person sharing it to another person, and then they'll share it to another person. That's really how it's spreading.
You have to be self-taught, because nobody's really teaching this stuff. This is literally the only, when we say this is the one and only Twin Solar System podcast, it really is. There is really nobody else teaching this stuff out there. So
that's right.
You have to be self-taught. You have to look for this information alternative. You being here, great start, but
we're not newbies.
There's a lot of good alternative news channels out there. There's a lot of alternative stuff that you could come out with. But when it comes to the Nibiru system and this kind of stuff, I mean,
yeah, and we've been doing it at Montana Skywatchers and Nibiru, and
you're not going to find this information anywhere else. At least any credible information. And reliable information that you could correlate to what you're seeing and compare it to this happening and that happening. Everybody else just does a small one-time event and doesn't really correlate it to other things. What makes us different is that we have members from all over the world. So whenever I see one passing, and this is funny because just this last passing that I saw, Andy Poole posted some pictures, and I was like, I need to get ready because something might be happening soon. And sure enough, 3 days after he posted a very cool pass, I had the exact same post, the exact same view on my side of the world. So there is, you could correlate these things to compare them, how they happen on one side of the planet, and they'll happen in a few days later on the other side of the planet. Also, you have to remember Outview, guys. We're seeing in a very limited cone from our ball. We have to think we're on a ball, so we have a limited view. I always get often I get asked if one person has seen it on one side of the planet, everybody else on the planet should be seeing it. No, it doesn't work that way. We have a very limited view because we see out in the cone shaped. You explain it better, Sam. I know.
Yeah, well, we have localized comparatives where people will send in their stuff, and people from the United States will see a similar behavior pattern, and then I will be posting a drawing going down the page, person after person after person after person, where this all matches.
The same thing,
right?
But because we have an out view that's rather limited, we're not all going to see it at the same time. And
right, not all at the same time. Not only that,
really it's a different time of day. In the beginning, I was like, why is it that somebody on this side of the planet has some incredible skies, and I'm not getting nothing? Why is that? And then eventually, I got with that. I saw in one of your interviews, Sam, that you mentioned how we look out into like a cone area because we're on a ball, so our view is just we're seeing that way, and we have this view, this limited view, so not everybody's going to see it at the same time, which I just find fascinating. More proof that we don't live on a flat earth, because we would all be getting the same sights.
Sorry, just every time.
Yeah, no, it is. More distant than others, but I mean, we would all be seeing it, but we can because we're different sides of a ball, So yeah, you just the difference between us is that we compare, worldwide things, and they all match. So
right, and we're not doing the single event.
We know what we're seeing, and after a while, once you start paying attention to this stuff, and once you learn it, you can pretty much predict when something's going to happen. Like again, when I saw Andy Poole's post, because over the years I've known certain people. Tony recently had his sighting after I had mine, and that always happens. But usually he has it first, and then I get it later. This time it happened the opposite. But if you pay attention to the people around you, the other people posting, the other people that know as much as we do, you can pretty much predict when something's going to happen, because one of them will see it, and then a few days later, if you know to pay attention, you know that it's going to come, and you're going to get to see the view of it too. So,
which is where some of the drawings come from on the side.
I have so much fun with that. I have so much fun with that because I know as soon as somebody posts something, okay, I'm just waiting for it. I got my cameras charged. I got to make sure everything is ready because I know something's coming. And sure enough, I never have to wait more than 2-3 days before it happens in my area, right after somebody else posted. So yeah, it's so much fun, guys, once you get the hang of this stuff, Did
you see what Subarctica just typed?
No.
Yeah, that's a very common.
The holograms. Yes.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Now there is a conspiracy theory for you. Yeehaw.
I get asked that a lot too. If I think they're holograms, no.
They're interdimensional. Yeah.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Well, we wouldn't have had. We wouldn't have had they would always been the same size, and then they would have been showing it to us on the ISS fake cams, and as well as mixed with their live cam. Because I still to this day believe that some of the live feed is not live, maybe during a spacewalk or two when they know that there's no planets that are visible in their camera angle, and then they've got God knows how many captures where, like, there was one recently released where there's a docking, smaller extraterrestrial craft that actually docked up with the ISS. So we're not getting told anywhere near the real story from them. But yeah, and we over the years have watched them come in bigger and bigger and bigger, and I mean we all had to tiptoe through discovery as well, and notice there's a red blob here and a green blob there, and God, look at that purple blob, and oh my God, it's got a white thing in front of it. And then we watched over the years, and they got bigger and bigger and bigger, and then they matched the other Pleiadian message information, off-world information that we got from two different sources, which is why we use them. Not just one source, and we've gathered all of this information, and it has just continued to pan out, especially since for an example, when Isatim's yellow moon and Isatim came around under the right hand side in front of Nibiru as of 19, 20, 21, 22, and got predominantly bigger to where it's the stage that it is today. I was just chuckling because I'm drawing it in, I know it's coming. And then here it is, and then it got bigger, and then month out, and Rebecca got really excited about that and started doing a lot of her comparisons, showing Isatim and Isatim's yellow moon.
Oh, yes.
Spending a lot of time telling people, no, it's not a second star, and all of this. And then we did,
I like seeing the progression I've made, like with the comparisons, like where it started in 2020. I started because. Before that, I was just making them for myself to help myself remember what things were, and then as I got more sure of myself, I started sharing them with the group. I thought, well, I could at least help them, have a better understanding.
And you invented your own level of science that we use as a regular tool now.
That's true.
We all found our way of learning. Time lapses were my thing.
Right.
That's how I learned. And it's how
You're
I
like time lapse master.
And I always do best on my single stills.
And what I use to teach other people. So I think we've all learned our own way, and we use those things to our advantage.
And we blend them together, and we share our information.
Yes. I like when I post something, and then Rebecca, you come with your illustration of what it is. I love that, because we all kind of piggyback off each other, and we all just kind of mesh together, and it all comes just beautifully together. And I think we all have worked really good together with that stuff. And
the site drawings have come in very handy, and we get to go back reference.
We have the site drawings, and then Rebecca will put what it is, and then she'll put Sam's drawing underneath. She'll put a picture of the sighting I put, and then she'll put Sam's drawing, and then it all works great together.
And then you see it just lines right up. Every time it just matches. Yeah.
And that's how we know we are accurate, because we are accurate, and it month after month, year after year.
It's real, right?
You just real. Know this it pans real. Out, and it's very it's because we've all taken our place to put the puzzle pieces together. It's like and because of it, we've turned it into a very stable, larger amount of information that we feel comfortable enough to actually go and do a 8-hour podcast every week. I'm not we're probably not going to do too many 8-hour ones. I don't know. I mean,
eventually we went to 9 at one time, over 9.
That's right. I forgot we did make 9 hours once.
So will we ever top that? I don't know.
No, I don't know. Not unless I got a whole pot of coffee in front of me.
Oh yeah, and another ready to go.
Yeah, and then, no stomach left, and call the ambulance. I ate my stomach up on coffee.
Yeah, but I just wanted to tell Rocket Man thanks again, because I get the nicest comments from people every day. It's awesome. People just like that, thanking me for helping them understand. So
yeah, I have to thank everybody for the cards, Christmas cards this year. Thank you.
Right.
So, and you're all getting one back. They're going to be, some of them are going to be a little late.
We get lots of really nice support. We really do. Like sincere, genuine support, real people. We're not dealing with a bunch of bots like I see on other channels.
Right.
So that's good.
Or being bombarded with members that we don't even know about.
Right.
Yeah.
We're actually really comfortable.
Thank you for
So
being a friend. Yeah.
yeah, really. Anyway, what else? I,
Oh, yeah, that lovely world out there. Some people,
right,
and here we're trying to do it as sincerely and honestly as we can for people that so that, that they do understand that this is
right.
quite real, and yet some of the crap we get for it, I okay, well, all right, and Jillian's favorite term is "thank you very much, Skippy," you know.
Yes. Yeah.
And we're good at what we do, and that's why we are sharing it every week or twice a week, actually, and that way everybody can get a show to their favorite time periods. And I hope that they actually look forward to it. That we are here. Hey, oh, my show's on, whatever. And I hope we become your show, or as Dan heard on his prospecting channel says, I hope to earn your subscription. I have to, if I'm going to quote him, I have to give him credit for it. We try to promote other YouTubers, and the gang's all here, and we're hopefully a family. I,
Andrea is asking how long we've been on, and it's been 4 hours and 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
dun dun
That's
dun
where
dun
we're at.
dun dun dun.
I'm glad you're here, Rocky, man. That's really nice of you to say.
I know. We're just getting the nicest comments from everyone. So
They're still all drunk from mulled wine. I'm joking,
that's
Bob
it.
Cratchit
That's
and all
it.
that.
They're not in their right mind.
I usually don't
Yeah.
drink wine. I had a few glasses with my Christmas dinner that went really well with the ribeye roast. It was pretty good. So,
I bought a bottle of wine to go with Christmas dinner, and I never opened it.
we did had apple cider mixed with another
Thank you,
wine.
Rocket Man.
I was told it's really good. I don't know much about wine, but it went very well with dinner. Then we played Uno after that. That was really
Oh,
fun.
lucky you. I
That
like
sounds
you.
great.
I
I
like
hadn't,
you.
I hadn't played that in God, I don't know how many years, but
I
I
like
I
had
should
so
have
much
done
fun.
that.
I had
Very
so much
frustrating
fun.
game.
We were playing with a little bit of change and dollars, and it wasn't much. But the winner at the end of the night was my brother. He ended up with gas money, so
Yeah,
nobody
I like
went
poker
too
for that
broke.
reason.
But nobody went too broke, but somebody got gas money at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So it was fun.
Penny Ante poker is good, and I like every once in a while to play Risk, but that's only when you got people there for the whole day, or a captive group of people visiting that have to sleep over, or nothing, where family comes or whatever.
I'll
And
tell you,
Monopoly is always
those
good.
Uno games could go on forever too. We only
Oh yeah, they
we
can.
played like maybe 3 hands, and we were there for a couple of hours.
We used to put 2 decks together.
I remember when I was younger, we used to do that.
Yeah.
You'd end up with like 20 cards at one time. Yeah.
I just read Rocket Man said, Samuel, you are a legend. Am I really?
Oh, check that out. I love it. Yes.
I'm just me, but thank you for saying
I
that.
think so too.
I appreciate it a lot. Thank you,
Anybody else?
everybody. It's been a hell of a year. Oh my God, and people do
Right.
tell me that, and I just, I go, wow, okay, cool. But we've all earned this together, and I wouldn't be where I'm at without everyone around the world sending in their material. And it's the members and you guys, and
It's a group effort that only works when everybody is because of that. Again, what makes us different is the members. Is that everybody's showing what they see on their side of the planet, and we get to compare it to what others see on their side of the and what we see, and it all matches, and that's why this works. Is because citizen science does work, guys. This is proof of it. I think what we have done here is incredible, and I think hopefully years from now, hopefully not too many years from now, or hopefully, this.
well,
will
I
be
hope we can get
something
past the discrediting. I
yeah,
hope.
hopefully this becomes more of a subject of more of a learning based thing than something that people are trying to debunk or dismiss as lies, because this is very provable. You know, I think what we've done here is amazing, and I'm very proud to be a part of it. You know, because I often think, why and how did I get myself involved in something so huge like this? But I'm glad I did, and I'm glad to be here, and I'm very proud of what we've done here. But it is absolutely a group effort, because I've learned from so many people. I've learned a little bit from everybody. Yeah, there is some favorites. Some of us that socialize more than with others, but I love that we all get to see each other's work.
Yeah,
I look forward
yeah.
to.
If there's people out there that are hesitant to talk to us because we do have a legendary reputation, or we're semi-famous, or you think we're busy, no, um,
Right.
don't think that.
There's
And
super normal people,
and
really.
and there's a lot of people. Oh, I'm sorry for bothering you, Mr. Hoffman. And I was like, well, okay, well, you caught my attention, so I mean, shoot, go ahead and ask, because we're all, we are doing this to share all of the information, and it all belongs to all of us, and we're not really trying to sell it or anything like that. I just sent you 3 pictures, Rebecca.
Okay, I thought I see my phone light up. Okay. Oh, wow. Nice.
And this is something we don't talk about very often, and I don't really post it that often. We Radio Wasteland used it, and in a couple of the older shows, but people would have to actually go out and look for them. Oh, I'm looking at on Facebook on Petty. Sent in 5 pictures on the 25th, and they're pretty awesome too.
Okay, I have not
Always
seen
look
those
forward to
lately.
Petty's post.
If you'd like,
Like
I
I said,
can
there's
copy them.
some people that post that are my favorite, and Petty is definitely at the top of that
That
list.
might be faster.
Um,
As
I'm
Sam
gonna
has said
send. I'm gonna.
before, he's an artist.
Right. There are some people like your standard regulars favorites. You gotta, no matter what, go check their page out and see. I know.
I will
I
send
really
you the
wish that
five
Petty could
pictures that
join
he
us.
did.
He would be so great
Okay.
at adding a lot to what we have to say. Unfortunately, his there's a language barrier there, but you know,
Too
hopefully.
bad we don't have like an
And
auto
two of the
translate.
5 so far.
Well, not with AI.
Two
I'm
of the
sure
5
it's
so
not too
far
far
have got.
from. Gotta go.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Sam.
Okay, 5 more.
2 of the 5 have Texas Q. Uh, I think I'm on number 4 that I'm posting for you, but show those other 3 first,
Yeah, I got
and then we can
4
move
right
on to.
now.
We can. Okay. Here comes number 5. Oops. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, and here comes number 5 of Petty's. That's the ones he just posted those from yesterday, and then you show those other first 3 pictures, and then I'll shut up.
Okay.
See, whatever
I
happened
don't
to
know.
stereo? Whatever happened to stereo ahead and stereo behind? Is that still online?
Yeah, they're out there.
I haven't.
Paul,
I haven't
I
seen
can't remember.
anything from them anymore. From those
Let
from
me
those
run.
instruments.
Let me run to Montana Skywatcher 2, and I'll try and pull Paul's last name. Okay. He posts that stuff all the time. Jason McKay points to a picture of the red star on Facebook. Red star, red asteroid. Well, my brain was disconnected there. Oh, my computer's
It's
stalling,
my
of course, because I got 3
tool.
pages open.
Thank you. That's sweet. I know. Yeah, keep me on my toes, Andrea. Right.
It's
Where'd
also
you go?
running on my Facebook page at the same time, so I'm running several pages
Andrea.
all at the same time. Okay, it's Paul Leclerc, and he posts stereo A and B pictures all the time on Montana Skywatchers too. So yeah, it's still available out there. I don't go there as often as I should or as I used to, because I used to go there every morning, and I would look at my own.
There with the owl.
L-A, La, and then separate C-L-A-I-R, LeClaire. And he's a member of Montana Sky Watchers, and he could probably hook you up with the links. That is Skywatcher 2.
Is it Claire with the E, Sam?
C-L-A-I-R. Claire.
No E? No.
No.
E at the end? Okay.
I already left Facebook. I'd have to go look him up again. Yeah, here we have an older picture of Nibiru, everybody. And if you look over to the left, Isatum and Isatum's yellow moon are in this picture, but they're dark. They're on the right-hand lower side, and they're there. Took me years
I
to see
never
that.
noticed the bottom corner thing that's cutting off Nibiru in this picture. And when
Yeah,
you
that's
pointed it out,
actually, yeah.
when
That's
you pointed it out
Isatum
the
and
other day, I
Isatum's
was
yellow
like,
moon.
holy crap, how did I not notice that?
Because it's dark.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still cutting it off.
Yeah, but everybody looks at the light stuff first.
Yeah, but...
And that is what you have to train your brain to look elsewhere first, in the dark first.
And I always do for the dark spots, but in this picture, just your attention just goes directly at those land masses and stuff. It's just hard.
And if you look over to the left, far left lower, you see lead asteroid, red asteroid, and spiral asteroid above it. And I bet you didn't see those there either.
No, but I definitely see the dark bodies now.
Yep, and they're the circles, and we see the facial shapes, and we know lead asteroid is in the front, way bigger, and then the red asteroid in this shot. The red asteroid is actually behind lead asteroid, and the spiral asteroid is above the other two. And the back at that time, years ago, that's what they looked like, although they've changed positions over the years by out view. Not really, they pretty much stayed the same in their own orbit placement, but it's our view of them that changes. Because they're not directly next to each other per se. They may be, 10,000 miles apart. I don't know. But they're in the out view. But anyway, yeah, there's Nibiru and the land masses.
So Avengers is asking, was this taken in space?
Yeah, this was taken in space. I'm going to say 2019-ish. And then the other two photos are also ones after this are years apart as well.
Okay.
And there you see 2016. You see the same thing when it was much smaller. And that is through stereo ahead, probably A.
So, where was this picture taken from? Do you know?
From the stereo A and B,
or...
stereo A and B sun cameras in deep space.
So let me explain, because I didn't know this either. So stereo, there's one camera that's facing one way as from the sun, and then there's one that's facing the other way.
Right, and they cross in their centralized view, and they use that. That's why they call it stereo A and B, because they then get a stereo picture of it from two different points in space, and then it adds depth.
Okay, here's another one.
And that's another and that
what are the dates? What are the date difference on those two? Because they're very similar.
This is also 2016.
But I mean, is it the same date or is it a different day? Could you go back to that other one?
11/19.
Sure.
I want to see the date. Okay, so this is 11/30,
11/19 and 11/30. It's 2 weeks apart.
Wow, jeez, that's crazy. Because that's basically the same cloud pattern that it has there. Wow, that's insane. That's crazy.
Yeah, I just now saw that too.
Crazy.
The dark spots
and
lines.
That up. You can see this is, again.
Spot.
This is why comparisons are so great. You see how that matches. So you can't put this as not a real thing, because that's very similar on two different days, 2 weeks apart. That is insane.
And
that's
then of course
crazy.
the first picture was years farther with better advanced equipment at the time, so we got a better picture of it.
That's insane. That's crazy.
And which is why we know what it is.
I've always loved these two pictures. I love them.
Yes. I'm
Supposedly
curious.
that's Earth right there in that white shaft light. They've got it marked as Mercury and Earth. And if you have a bigger screen, you could read that.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you
Look at the
see.
size
I see
difference.
it.
Mm.
You know, or tiny little rock type Earth versus a water type planet, which is a huge planet.
Jesus Christ.
So, did they have any explanation for this? Like, where did you?
I don't know absolutely if this is Earth or not. It could be
Uh-huh.
something other than Earth, and why I
Uh-huh.
didn't personally tag this, so.
Right.
But it was a stereo A and B capture, and it went,
That means we're just so tiny. I mean,
yeah, we are. We're minute. We're on this rock that creates this really cool commodity that everybody
uh-huh.
wants, and that's why we're
It's,
here.
isn't that just random?
We were placed here by a higher race that knows far more than we do.
And there's that Dune connection to that movie Dune.
Right. The commodity for the
You know,
spice.
the
Spice.
spice. You know,
And gold
is-
does have a level of magic to it, yes.
Gold is our spice. You know, but also I want to point this out too to everybody watching is that look at the cloud pattern. This is the reason why we see it the way we do. I mean, those cloud patterns on this are they're just they make you understand why we see things the way we do because we don't see the planets the way Hollywood depicts them, but this is more reality. This is another reason why I know this is real because that cloud pattern is exactly what we see with the planets. You know, we see that they are encased in clouds, not in the way that you would think. It's like almost like an outer shell of the planet. It's hard to kind of visualize that unless you see a picture like this.
Even
picture
pictures
was
of the
really,
Earth.
Was a really teaching moment to me. You know,
This one here.
this really made things really okay. This is what things really look like. You know, from our point of view, this is what things really look like, and that's just insane. That's crazy.
And I posted another one from 2012 at the end of Petty's shots. If you want to look at that one, and
Oh yeah. I'll look and see.
that's the land masses that you could see from Earth as Nibiru was passing in the year 2012.
It's something
And-
you posted on your page.
I posted it on the PM at the end of Petty's 5 pictures. The same
You
place.
sent them to me.
I just sent you one
Right.
additional picture of Nibiru in 2012.
I got
That I
that.
think is important at this point.
And where is Petty's pictures?
They're at the end of the Nibiru ones.
Okay.
On that same PM, I sent you the 3 Nibiru pictures, and then I sent. Oh wow! Oddly, only 2 of Petty's pictures went through. Weird.
Okay, so this is one of them. I see now what you're doing. Okay.
I sent
Yeah,
you
I got
5, and
2.
only 2 went through.
Yeah, I'm only
That's-
seeing 2, Sam, too, as well.
Uh-huh.
Weird. And it's the ones with the cube that didn't make it.
What?
Weird.
They're watching
Censored.
us.
Yeah, we're being censored. Dun dun dun. Living.
Oh boy, I'm
So
paranoid.
anyway, so you have 2 pictures, and then post the one on the 2012, which is marked.
Okay. I'm getting it.
And I'm sorry, people out there, it's a little slow to pull up the right picture. We got to, talk to the production assistant.
I know. We have so much help.
Yeah.
It's just us. Isn't that crazy? It's just us sitting here, with
Yeah, a little side mic on the
minimal
phone.
equipment, talking about like the biggest story.
The guy in the
happening.
booth is talking to me in my earbud. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I got the other Nibiru picture. I got 2 of Petty's.
Okay.
So
Would you put up the 2012 picture? Because we were looking at the land masses on Nibiru and associating people to the red picture, the blue picture, and then the 2018-19 picture. And in 2012, from my yard, I could see the planet Nibiru quite clearly. And this is an example of that. It just amazed me that people couldn't see it at the time. And if you look at the bottom picture first, and then look at the top picture. You could see that planet standing there with the land masses.
it's like a big rock.
Yeah.
Kind of. Uh-huh.
It must have been very, very close pass.
And those 2 little white glitches at the front and on both pictures. You see the little white glitches just where the land ends. That's the size of Nana and Amel Saru, the two moons.
Oh, Jesus. Wow.
And I watched those from my yard for months when I first started Montana Skywatcher 1. And I kept telling people, and I kept telling people that you can see it, you can see it, you can see it, you can see it. I'm up here in Montana. I can see land masses. I can see mountains. I can see the two mountains, the two moons concentrically orbiting. One Nana orbits Amel Saru, and I watched it and watched it and watched it. Nobody listened. And here's an example of it. You know.
This is strange. Christopher says he tried sending us cube pictures and it would not send. That's interesting.
And those are the ones that I
them to me, right? I'll
I'll,
double check.
I'll see if I can. Where did Petty Shots go? Wow, Petty Shots aren't there anymore. Where did they go?
Oh boy, we need like the Twilight Zone music playing. I know.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to get that saved.
I don't remember where it was on news feed, I thought, and I'll have to go to Skywatcher 1 see if he set them there.
I know, Christopher. It's weird. Because no, I haven't gotten anything else from you.
Yeah, it's down to 2 pictures on Skywatcher 1 also, and there were 5 just a minute ago. Weird. Okay, I don't know where he sent them. I'll go back to Montana Skywatcher 2.
Okay, I'm gonna look at Petty's profile real quick. There's some from a day ago. Oh, you sent me 2 of these.
25th, yeah.
Yes. Okay.
And I'm throwing out their live feed on Montana Skywatcher 2 is playing. I should bump it, put it up the top of the page. That's when I type in bump. BUMP.
Right.
I'm boosted up to the top of the page.
I have a folder.
I'm still not seeing them. I'm
Petty.
still not seeing them. Wow, I'm down. Weird. Those 5 pictures just bumped into 2.
Well, I went to his page and got them. So here, hang on just a minute. It'll be just right. Okay. I mean, he's over in Hungary. Most of these pictures are Hungary. They always get good views. I know that much. I know different parts of the world see different things, but I don't get this.
He's got 2, 2 major small seas or oceans. Yeah, not ocean, seas. You know, you got the Caspian Sea and all of that in that area. Istanbul, Black Sea, and all of that.
Like I said,
Crimea.
It's a whole different view
Very
from
cool
what I
bean.
see. Okay.
And
here
Carla
it comes.
Max has reposted
I got
more. Carla
Let me
Max
take
has
this down
reposted
just a
some more
bit.
light tower shaft light.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here just looking on Facebook too, or Montana Skywatcher 2.
She's always posting really cool stuff.
Yeah. Some of her friends are not our friends, and some of her friends do razz her a bit, and we're sorry for that.
I know.
She's been predominantly a very good friend, so let's hope she stays that way. And I just posted a picture of hers onto that same PM list where you can actually see Atu's moon and the light reaching around Atu's moon straight up from the ground, which proves exactly what we were talking about earlier.
And
I think Carla has done a good job at kind of keeping things in their place, you know.
Right.
She's been my friend for years, and she's never given me any problems. So, you know.
Yeah. But she had mentioned that some of her friends were saying some negative things about me, which we've known about for years. That some people say things negative about me, which is okay, I guess. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, I suppose. And that picture right there, we're looking at the lead asteroid, and you can see the same stripe in the center, and it's doing that earlier model that we posted, the hand drawing, and it is, you see the white illumination behind it, and that is, of course, Atu's moon, white face. And the red asteroid is directly behind the lead asteroid, all the way up right to the left corner of the picture there. And then
I'm just gonna
spiral
say
behind it.
the picture real quick. I mean, you can that angle to the left there always gets me. You know,
And I
that
think the Texas
salamander.
cube is just to the right of the lead
Group.
asteroid, which is in my drawings as well. I'll go all the way back to
Right.
2019.
Let me go back and look at that real quick.
Yeehaw! It matches over and over and over and over.
I know, it does. Let's see, let's pull this one up. That one's pretty good. All that asteroids, the lead object, the tan, all those, the skull, all of that area there is the same here to the left. It's always at that angle.
I've got a better.
Always
I've actually
like
got
that.
two better drawings than that one.
Like regular clouds
grab
just
those
would
real
not
fast.
replicate like that over and over. We know that. Everybody's like shaking their heads. They already know. Here's the next one. These are the ones, 5 pictures that Petty posted today or yesterday. So I'm thinking
I'm
I
posting
sat
you
up.
an example of. I'm posting an example of what something you made. Close pass of Atu's moon. That you posted on the 24th. So because we never show any of you your comparison drawings, and I figured we might as well show people who have not seen them if they're not Facebook member. Yeah. Oh, look at that. You're looking at easy red asteroid, lead asteroid under Atu's moon again.
Okay.
And probably some level of cube involved. Boy, that's really big and thick. Oh, I gotta hand you that one drawing I was thinking about with the Texas cube and everything while I'm thinking about it again. All right. Yeah, that's that one I drew years ago of the Texas cube behind lead asteroid and all that. Wait a minute, I'm in the wrong file. Okay. Gotta go all the way to the bottom of the real pictures file, not the drawn file. Oh, there it is.
Next picture.
All right. I sent you the Atu's moon one with the 2 illuminated asteroids, and then the comparison that you did with that, and then here's Atu's moon, Texas cube, and lead asteroid, or the comparison to Petty's.
Got it.
These are, of course, the site drawings that we've drawn over the years, and they match time after time, year after year, depending on how close the 180-day cycle is, because that does change. And this is how we work through other pictures that were drawn at the time, and then we go back reference on and we've had people complain, well, why do you use old drawings? Well, because at the time they match.
And those scenarios repeat themselves over and over again. So a drawing from years ago can match things that we still see today.
Yeah, like this example, this picture that we're looking at right now of Petty's picture with the square and the pull down ion cloud that's on the left. That last drawing I just sent you.
Yes.
All the way. I don't know if you got it yet of the Texas cube.
Marking.
Okay.
Well,
post that one.
The drawing, right? Yes.
Yeah, the drawing of the Texas cube, Atu's moon, and then lead asteroid, and slap that one up with next to this.
Okay.
Or after, so people, and then we can go back and forth if you want to. But that was a drawing from 2019, and reference point is that it does work over and over again because we see the same patterns. And of course, when the planets come in, they start out smaller, and then they work over the top of us, do their cycle, and then go away. In some points of view, other times they're there all day. Just the cloud basin, you got you have to learn it, but. You should. I think you should have it by now. I didn't see if it.
I got it. Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't checking.
No, you're good.
Well, I'm trying to turn it off in between so that I'm not stalling out.
Right.
Not that my computer is going to stall. It's my internet that, frankly, is going to stall. But if I run,
Right. But one day it turns you into a robot.
well, if I run Facebook, then I'm playing this speed twice because it's also running on Facebook at the same time right now as we live speak here. So I'm getting that. I'm getting double feed, and I'm going to stall myself out, which I don't want to do. And the girls are, of course, playing in the other room. Anyway, so you should have
totally
that.
Get it. Yeah, I am gonna pull it back up again.
Yeah. And what's cool is the stripes in this as well. That in Petty's picture is, that it's very highly striped. Oddly for Atu's moon, that being striped, but it is.
That is weird looking. But not, a normal, natural
Yeah.
effect. Again. Oh, and this one, look at that.
Again, Atu's moon and the asteroid object cluster group coming in from the upper left, going downward, orbiting underneath the rotating planet. Underneath Atu's moon on the outer edge.
Crazy. Wow.
Very similar to my time lapse. You even see the light coming in from the right.
So post that drawing of the Texas cube and Atu's moon.
Okay, I might have to back out and come back in if it doesn't let me pull it up.
Giving you too much, am I?
No, actually, I found it. Got it. Ta-da! Get up here. There.
Well, that was close. That's close. Yeah, but this
you want
doesn't
the
have the
Texas cube?
Yeah, and they're the same one with the Texas cube in the background, and that's pretty much what Petty's photographs are. And you can see the asteroids are coming in from the upper left at an angle, and they orbit underneath Atu's moon at the center, and we'll sometimes see them in vertical, and we'll sometimes see them on the right-hand side or on the left-hand side, depending on the rotation of what you're viewing. And here you're seeing, there's that square in the background behind lead asteroid, and that's Texas cube, where it always hides.
I'm interested in trying to figure out a way where I can pull up a box that shows your.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not found anything like that, but if I can figure out a way, I will.
Hardly do that with my computer either.
Let me just. Oh, we don't want that. I'm
We got
my
close
options.
up of Jesus there for a moment.
Uh-oh, we don't want that. Okay, well, those are not going to do that.
I wonder if are you going to sleep, Jesus?
I'm.
Poor Jesus.
I am yawning.
Your eyes look a little close. If you need to go, you go by all means. Go ahead and go.
I'm curious to see what you guys are going to show, and then.
I know. Oh,
Yeah.
well,
it has been a long. It has been a long week.
It has been. It has been.
The whole Christmas thing. I didn't expect to do much, and it was a little more.
Every day was full.
A little more excitement than I'm used to.
And my
You're gonna catch up to me here.
Days were full. I got busy weeks still myself.
I've actually in the last year I've nodded off like 3 times while I was doing something else and couldn't believe that I actually fell asleep in the chair without even knowing it. So yeah,
I did that a few shows ago. I couldn't stay awake. I was so sleepy.
Wow.
It was late.
And here you again in this Ross's picture.
Ross has been posting some very cool stuff.
You see the object cluster group coming in from the left-hand side again. You can see the pathway. You see the underneath of the illuminated Atu and Atu's moon, all cloudy and patchy. And if it wasn't for that object cluster group coming in all the time from the left at that angle down, it wouldn't be just as easy of a call. But that's when I see that, I automatically know, ding, Atu's moon and the object cluster group.
Yeah, that angle thing is always.
And that ain't just clouds by themselves repeating a pattern for 13 years. Well, actually, Atu hasn't been close for 13 years. Atu's been close for just about 10.
I'm trying to get Ross on the show with us, so I think he will.
He's been posting some very cool
He
stuff.
really does. I like his pictures.
Yeah,
I like his
he's been
posts a
posting
lot.
some really cool
I
stuff.
use his pictures a lot for posts for
How
comparison.
long has he been in the group? I only recently started noticing his pictures.
I know, maybe a year.
Mm.
I'll check and see. I'm
Well, I think
curious
he
too.
must have
Not that
learned.
long.
He must have learned a lot because the quality of his pictures are very good. Like I think he knows what he's looking at.
Oh my God.
I do too. I,
Yeah,
I
I
do
think
too.
he knows what he's looking at. And he knows how to take
Oh,
pictures. I think he's. I love.
Where
oh
to
God.
look?
I've been seeing
Yeah.
one behind the other, and they're each very good pictures. So
Hey, Richard, the bottom new comment. Richard, thank you for the big smile that you created on my face. Dr. Claudia Albers, how do I say this kindly? Wow. Oh, wow. God.
Oh
Hmm,
no.
I'm trying to find the proper words here, and I'm just not coming up with them. Pain in the ass. Oh, disinformation. Oh,
Right.
excuse me. I studied physics.
Claudia.
I studied advanced chemistry. She talked about no science I ever read in my entire life. So maybe that's what happened to her. Maybe she just got quiet. I hope. I hope. I apologize. I don't mean to be rude, but I hope she went away. I apologize, but I truly hope she went away.
I've never listened to her before.
Oh, I
I don't know
I
couldn't.
anything
know,
about
I
I
her.
know you're
tried.
talking about it, and she did post some pretty.
Oh God,
She had some bizarre. Um,
I'd call it hobo stew.
she has some bizarre ideas, I guess. To put it lightly. But I
Yeah.
see she hasn't posted anything in 9 months.
I just hope that she's done. And God, oh God, I spent years, and that's why I said hobo stew. I spent years wading through the stuff she was laying down that people were actually listening to, and I had to clear that up, and I had to clear it up, and and then you went to stellar bodies and all of this, and I was just going, oh my God, and the terms that some people use are so inaccurately misleading that no wonder people are going, oh, the Nibiru planets are coming in interdimensional. They come in and they're here and then they go away, and all of this, and scooping all the way out to flat Earth and the firmament and all of that. Oh God, unfortunately she laid down so much incredulous material that we spent a great deal of time trying to clean up the mess that she caused. And I don't want to be rude. I've never personally met the woman, but I really tried to watch her material, and I could never wade through it for more than 2 to 3 minutes at a time. And then I would just go, oh my God, this woman is nuts. Because
So
her science is nothing I ever read out of a book. I'm sorry.
what's her specialty? What is her
Well,
thing?
she claims to be an astrophysicist or something. I don't know what her accreditation is. I could never see. I don't.
Her
I don't
channel
know.
says PhD, but it doesn't say PhD in what. So.
Yeah, and not only that, I don't necessarily, when people call themselves that, I don't necessarily believe that. I listen to their words and not their plaque on the wall. And she did not, to me, seem like she was actually educated. I did not understand her. There was no science I know of. And I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just,
Yeah.
because I mean, he made me smile. Richard made me smile. Morning, Thomas. It made me smile bringing her up because I could never. Fortunately, she had blissfully removed herself from my mind. And then I went, ouch, and then he mentioned her, and I was like, ow, oh, okay, that was a good smile. Thank
I
you.
forgot all about her, honestly.
Oh yeah. Oh God, we wait, and I think she threw out dates all the time too.
Because I only ran across her a few times, and I tried to see what it was about, and I was like, I couldn't get through much of it either.
Yeah, I couldn't wade past her terminology, and I just went, this is no science I ever heard of.
Sometimes the thumbnails would get my attention because she was discussing something that looked interesting, but what she was talking about just made absolutely no no heads and tails about it. So yeah.
Thank you, Avengers Captain. I am now laughing. Thank you.
Oh, Barbara.
Yeah,
That's funny.
little, and then you go, and then you got your water, and it comes down, and then here's you go the gray on one side of the brush and the black on the other side, and a little swirl like that, and you've got your automatic rocks. And then to do the water line, you drag a straight white line over here, and then and for reflection, you go down vertical, and then you go vertical, and then you go horizontal, and then you get your reflection in the water. Yes, I can paint. Yes, I've watched hundreds of hours of Bob Ross. I love Bob Ross.
This is from Zane. Hi, Zane.
Hey, Zane.
Zane's watching. Yeah, this is his opinion.
Does PhD stand for a pile of horse dung? Pile of horse dung. PhD.
Oh boy.
Well, yeah,
I'm
I
curious.
really seriously tried. I tried. People would send me her stuff all the time, and I really, and if somebody's kind enough to send me something, I try to view it, and all, depending. If it's somebody I don't know completely, then I'm not necessarily going to open certain things because I've been hacked by opening stuff too. Yeah, I tried to watch her movies or her videos. Can't call them movies, and it hurt my widow head really quick.
Sounds like she's just really far out there, like in her ideas.
Yeah, her descriptions of, and it was all wispy smoke-like information that never panned out to any statement of knowledge whatsoever. And she'd create these hypotheticals and started talking about brown dwarf and this and red Nibiru and all of that, and right there, clank, the car crash right there.
Oh boy.
And and then they all went through, and the same thing with Zeta Talk. And I just sat there and listened.
Don't get me started on Zeta Talk.
Yeah, I listened to the shit these people were dumping out of the back of their pickup every day.
It was day after day after day with her, and those kind of things make credibility. Yes, stellar cores, exactly. That's what it was with her. I think that's Zane's comment. Yes, stellar cores. That's what she would talk about. But I think those kind of channels are really.
Yeah. What the hell is a stellar core? What the hell is a stellar core? A stellar meaning something out there, and a core meaning what? A planet? I mean, then why don't you just call it a damn planet? I mean, hello.
So she's the one that originated that term.
Oh yeah. And then the firmament and all of that shit came across it, and then the flat earthers went nuts over it, and
I'm still hearing people talk about stellar cores here and there. Like,
me too.
Because that's where I heard it first, was with her.
Yep, and that's
people are still talking about.
Oh my God, stellar core!
You have to be very careful of what you're talking about if you don't know what you're talking about, because you really do get people going, with the wrong idea, and others
and they're laying out.
Other people who are actually doing something and actually have something more to say are losing credibility.
How does that describe a gas giant or a rock type planet or a microplanet or a water type or and this is where the brown dwarf people start. It just makes me want to scream. There's an orange dwarf Imaru, the massively vast gas giant / electron cluster that holds our two stars together. But that's an entirely different scenario in comparison to what she's laying out there, that just frankly doesn't even get you from A to B. You're stuck at A plus going, where's the rest of the story? And she'd pop out, stellar core is doing this and that, and I'm going, what? And then, like I said, it hurt my head after I'd listened to 5 minutes of her. I'm going, I'm going insane. I can't listen to any more of this. And then I spent, month after month after month of people pumping this stuff at me. Go, did you hear what she said? Did you hear it? I'm going, no, let me correct you. Oh my God, please listen to me, And I'm sure not everybody did. And, God, let's talk real science here. Come on, science is not that hard. Oh my God, come on. Wow. Anyway, yeah, here we could devote an entire show to just start, downing her, and I'm not trying to do that. Wow.
I
Wow.
just think it's
Mercifully
very
forgotten.
detrimental to this topic. A lot of the crap out there is very detrimental, and it's the reason why a lot of people don't take this subject
Right. Right.
seriously, is because of crap like that.
Right. And this is why we're, spending week after week after week telling
Like
everybody, yeah, we've
she,
been doing this for 13 years,
like she wasn't showing anything. She wasn't saying nothing. It was all just a bunch of crap. What was coming out of her
Well,
mouth. And there's so
and the
many
peanut gallery
and
constantly
there's so
comments,
many and there's so many channels like that. There's just so many channels. I mean, Planet
and
X.
nobody looks into or investigates the material that we're sharing all the time. And that's the thing. They make it, a 5-minute viewing at us, and we're the bad guys, and the grifters or whatever, or the liars and the con man, that I'm currently dealing with people who are still harassing me. And not that they're really harassing me, they're just unfortunate people who have odd issues. Um, self-important, I guess. But yeah, we fought a lot of information, and I think we're going to continue to fight a whole lot of information. And I wish people would just jump. I mean, it's not like we've created this stuff; it's created itself. This information has stacked up and stacked up, and we've got all the pictures going back, well over a decade to prove it. And nobody else has any of this. And we've got
No.
many offshoots. There's been a lot of Nibiru offshoots from us, and they don't follow through and go, okay, well, I jumped off your site, can I have information from you? Because they don't communicate, all of them. Um, some we have quite a few sister sites. That's what this Nibiru Followers Anonymous, or Nibiru System is already here, and Montana Skywatcher 1 and 2, and I wish somebody would restart. We talked about this before. Italian Skywatchers, I'd love to have you back, even though, because God, we were getting some great pictures from Italy for the longest time, and I miss those folks. And
Right.
Maria could do a new Alaska cam site if she wanted to do. And this is, of course, what you have to want to do this, and why we've gotten where we've gotten, because we've all run our sites and wanted to collect all the best information that we could share with everybody, so we wouldn't be talking out our noses, and yet we'd have information that we could post every day, from weather to you name it, to the floods and the storms and the freak stuff, the information that is not making the standard worldwide news, and it should be, and include this climate change information, and it should be. And for the longest time, I was posting, Antarctica news and this and all of that, and sought weather, and I was working really hard every day for the longest time. But over time, especially over this last summer, the membership just sort of dropped out the window, and so I've been doing more personal research than posting.
Right.
You know,
I don't know. Membership in mine has been, well, you know how we get loads of like automated requests, and then you got to dig through all those to find the real person that
yeah, and
seems
then
to
there's
be
the
genuinely
invites of
interested.
friends that invite people, and then those people don't necessarily even show up ever to your site, even though they're a member.
Yeah, yeah,
And I
that
try to
too.
keep that into account. And I'm not adding a lot of people for you out there who are members or want to become members. I'm not adding a lot of invites anymore, just for that reason. If you personally are interested or obsessed, and are really working and willing to be a member and post videos, then you'll probably get through and become a member. But its membership drive is not huge with me. It's the science that's important, and I, of course, need new members who want to actually post their submissions of science that they captured, and they understand where it is, when it is, conditions that they can type in on the heading without going overboard, and do real science. And this is why Montana Skywatcher 1 and 2, don't allow people to post weird, odd videos about train cars or chickens or fish or anything, or gossip about off topic. And I am kind of strict, but that being strict is what got us here. It really is. Love that song.
That's true. Yeah, no, I know. I mean, all the years of just following your posts and comments is what got me here. I just quietly sit back and would sift through all the posts of the day and read what your comments were.
Rocket Man is asking me.
I still do that. Even like
Well, sure, that
Sam,
still,
even when
yeah.
I'm quiet, I'm always following. There's certain people that I follow more than others, but I'm always on whatever. If Sam is commenting on something, I'll go down the thread, and a lot of times I don't comment
Look for
or
it.
even put
Yeah.
a like or anything, but I will do go through it.
Some of our best members are very, very quiet and don't comment, and I'm glad
The
you're out
thing is that
there.
see, this is the thing, and this is where I was getting at, is that a lot of people come in and instead of absorbing the information, they want to mix in what they think they already know.
Right.
Okay,
That
and
does
my
happen.
recommendation, guys, for anybody who's new to either Rebecca's group or Sam's group, is come in, just soak in the information first. Okay,
See
just
what everybody else is posting. See how we
yes,
do
yes,
things.
and also leave whatever you think you know behind.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
do not associate, because you're only going to confuse yourself.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
put that away. Have an open mind and just listen. Just listen and watch the threads, watch the conversations going on, and you will learn a lot from that, because there's a lot of conversations that go on by in certain threads of people who already know what they're doing, and you will learn a lot. I learned a lot going down threads of certain people where Sam was either correcting somebody or agreeing with somebody or something like that. And there's so much to learn there. So just absorb the information. Just keep quiet. Nobody says don't talk. I mean, everybody has right to stuff, but I'm saying, just for me, I kept my mouth shut until I had a
Ask
grip,
a question.
an
Yeah.
idea of what I was talking about. There was a little short time when I was a little overexcited because I knew that I was at the right place. But then after a while, I was like, okay, I'm gonna just shut my mouth and I'm just gonna absorb this information and see what I think about it. Because of course I came in and I had a good feeling about it, but I wasn't just like, okay, I this is real. It took me some time to actually be like, okay, yes, I do believe this is what's happening. I took information and I absorbed it and I compared it to other things and then I made up my mind myself. That's exactly what everybody should be doing, is just come in, look at the information, compare it to what you've been seeing, and just process that information, because it takes a little time and it just takes. Leave your biases at the door, guys.
Yeah, and there are stages that I go through that where I'll comment down the page to everybody and be as friendly as I possibly can be. And then there's the other days that I'll just bomb through the whole page and hit like, or dislike, or remove, and then don't have a great deal to say. Of course, a lot of that has to do with how present I am at the moment. But the best thing you can do is take one or two shots with the sun and then the left side and the sun and the right side, and then post those. Tell us where you're at, what direction you're looking, who you are, and then we can go from there. And then you will see and learn also faster, knowing which direction to take the photographs rather than here, there, and everywhere, and you'll get your shots down. And then you can do a northern sky, you can do an above. It just you can add to the base of this of the standard sighting. But if you take a shot and you got half the sun on one side of the picture and then this rest of the sky on the other, and then on the other side you do it the opposite, and the sun on the left hand side, and you take the pictures of the right hand sky and you submit those, and maybe one going up or whatever to start with, and you'll learn yourself by posting them, and where I can have the opportunity, or Rebecca can have the opportunity, or one of the moderators throughout any of our sister sites can actually tell you generally, or some of the old time members. There's a lot of older members that know exactly what they're looking at, and they'll comment to you, "Oh, nice shot of such and such," and that's how you start to learn.
Yeah.
So, hey, Rocket Man was asking, do we live in the electrochemical universe?
Yeah, everything's connected. The electricity basically runs like in pH value and all of that. You have oxides and and kites, and you the transition from a positive to a negative, and a lot of it has to do with positive. Like for instance, gold and water are one of the few elements in the universe that are positively charged, and most of the other components and elements are negatively, and you add them and mix them and you do this, and then all of a sudden this changes, and everything in a subatomic level is electrically connecting and binding and switching protons and neutrons to form new compounds, and that's also stellar placement in a little orbiting subatomic micro dimension of that same premise that we live in ours, in our space, which is astrophysics and subatomic physics. And when you interchange these chemicals and the elements and the transition of water and the mixing and the placement of the copper or the placement of sulfur or the placement of any other with other, and you switch protons, neutrons, and negative, yeah, protons, neutrons, and electrons, and you switch that in the subatomic structure, it's like a little solar system. And yet that also has its placement and electrical binding force, which allows it to become a known compound with a mathematical basis. Otherwise, it would be a schizoid embolism or paradoxal, which would then be a radioactive breakdown of the compound that you had created, which is how things in atomic structure work in astroatomic as well as subatomic. I hope that answered your question.
That was deep.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just trying to
deep.
figure out how to describe it. Yeah.
I'm just like my
Yeah, well,
brain
the
is spinning.
electro, when you add compounds, it's like if you mix plaster with water, you get a heat reaction as that plaster dries, and
Yeah.
that is an actual. It's a transition from one state to another, and you have the carbon molecules and everything, and all lays out flat. Same thing with steel, and when you mix copper and zinc together, you get bronze or whatever. I can't remember if that's exactly bronze, but I haven't looked it up within a few weeks. Earth's brain. When you mix chemicals, you get an electrical mathematical equation, and that it's like a little tiny micro solar system of how things lay out, and that's how our solar system is laid out. And we're a compound of all these collective connective electrical stuff in space. And Einstein could never answer that. He could never answer, the difference between the physical Earth and then space, and that was the unification model he was seeking. And it is electrochemical connection. And you go to the subatomic and you go to the astroatomic. It's the same set of rules: protons, neutrons, electrons. Basic math, very simple. And Einstein did not get that. He wanted to listen to gravity well, pulling us in like we were disconnected and willy-nilly and free-floating. Although there are negative bodies out there that are free-floating. And those, of course, are asteroids, and sometimes the asteroid will end up hitting into the positive, and that'll change the transition, and then you have a breakdown, and you have a schizoid into the compound, which is a transition of the chemistry.
Wow.
And then if you have a breakdown, you have electrogram and a description of radioactive discharge. Protons, neutrons, electrons expelling one another and changing places and building a new compound, which can be this, which could be that. And that's how chemistry and astrochemistry works. So, what was that ripping? Did you just take the bullshit screen off and okay? That's
it was my electric cord over here was kind of getting in my way.
Oh, okay. I just thought you like ripped off a level of tape, that they do on race cars for mud. Okay, Sam's done with his bullshit. I'm teasing. I wasn't serious.
So I know we're kind of winding down, but I saw one other question here from Gray Guy. I didn't want to miss it. That's not it. Sorry.
Planet X.
It was
channel.
about. That wasn't it. It was about planets crashing into
her
each
husband's
other.
Planet X channel. I bet you anything that I bet you she's related to the Steve group, the Money Boys. Remember, they were always.
I did notice around that time, Sam, that there was a few people who were related. There was one whose mother, I think, somebody's channel. I don't know. I can't remember. I don't know if it was Jeff P or I don't know
Yeah,
whose
yeah.
crazy channel. And then
Yeah,
a
they
little
said they had a secret physicist for a while, and I
yes,
didn't
yes.
I
Yeah,
didn't know if that was
but
her, but I assumed it
I
was
was
because she came out later.
maybe yeah, but their mother came out later too, and also was monetizing her channel, and she did kind of okay, you know. I mean, money wise, I mean,
Yeah, money wise, yeah.
her content was trash as well. You know, none of it was based on reality or anything. She actually had taken a few of my things and set her own little twist
Yeah,
to it, which
yeah.
you know. But yeah, I there's a lot of news. I used to watch Rap the News. He had an interesting, for Avenger Captain who's asking, he had an interesting religious take on things. But he was a character that I found very interesting, and he had some very good footage of stuff. Some very interesting footage.
Yeah,
I think he passed. I think he died.
I
From
still
what
miss
He
I understand.
did.
From what I
Thor
understand, he died, but he
news.
was in. He
Like,
had some very interesting videos. Again, the guy was a little nutty, and he was always
Yeah.
he had like a
He's
pissed off.
dramatic.
He had he was a little extreme with the religious part of it, but he was entertaining. I'll say that. You know, he was entertaining, and his videos were interesting. He had some very interesting videos, some interesting footage. So
that's what happened to that's what happened to poor Mr.
to
Velikovsky. He,
he's,
the man was
starting to sound like
brilliant.
a robot.
Worlds in Collision.
Starting to sound like a robot. Sam.
Yeah, you're cutting out.
Breaking up, huh?
Um,
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's time to wind down. That's what happened last time, right around the timestamp.
Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I think we're done with Sam. I think Sam. Yeah.
Yeah, he told me, Jesus, that on the last show, you know how he exited, I don't know, a few seconds or so before we did. I thought, well, wow, he's excited to get off, I guess. I thought he left, but no, he didn't leave. He got booted.
Yeah, that's what he was just saying a while ago when you left
Yeah.
that he had got booted, and I remember that he had tried to come back, but then I didn't.
He's trying right now. Sam.
Well, I mean, there's two
Wow,
systems.
that's weird.
There's two separate systems running the internet now, so I wouldn't be surprised if his daughters are stealing up all the bandwidth.
Oh, that's right. The games. That's right.
Mm.
Maybe.
Maybe
That's
they were
right.
playing offline and now they went online, and you can't even connect back on. That's crazy.
That's pretty bad. Oh, wow. There he
And the
is.
picture's a little choppy.
Well, I heard your
Hmm.
Mm.
Still not working.
For me.
Oh, he's trying.
Hello. I tried.
Yeah.
To Avenger Captain, while we get Sam back, that Red Devil planet, I don't know if it was you that referred me to it, was interesting video. I found it very accurate. I mean, there was a few things that I
Yes.
don't think were correct, but overall it was a very accurate video. I think most of it, he talked about the binary system. He talked about how 50 years ago they had said that it would be here in 50 years. That's also was somewhat accurate from what I understand. There was a lot of stuff in there that was very
Right.
accurate. I gotta say I liked the guy. It sounded like he was honest, and I liked the video. Like I don't think again, I'm not perfect, but I think like 90% of the video was actually very accurate. I enjoyed watching it, hearing it. Really, there was nothing to watch, but I did find it interesting, and I wish. I don't know if the guy has a channel or what, because I couldn't find anything on him. But yeah, it was an interesting video. very interesting video. I liked it actually. It's just saying something because when it comes to this topic, it's hard to find anything worth watching.
No, I don't even try. I really.
I
Well, I
don't even
don't
try
know.
anymore either. No.
Oh,
And
you can hear me.
no, Sam,
You guys,
you're coming in and out, man.
Boy, wow, that's the real deal.
So I
Huh.
think Sam is
Well,
coming on like 5 hours and then he gets booted off.
yeah,
But honestly, I'm kind of tired. I was about to
I
call.
am too. I was tired before we started. I was
Yeah,
tired when I got up this morning.
yeah.
So
Me too. When I got up this morning, I was like,
I
"Holy
don't know
crap,
how I
it's
keep
Tuesday.
going.
Holy
Yeah.
crap, it's Tuesday." I said I didn't even realize it was already Tuesday. So,
No,
I
I
mean,
know.
it's enjoyable as always, but I am tired, and I don't think
Yeah, we should probably
I don't
hang
think
it
we're
up
gonna
there.
get Sam back.
No,
This is
no, and
becoming quite the thing right at the 5 hour mark, with Sam.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, but
well, it's been-
that's plenty. That's plenty of
yeah.
Pod-
So like we
plenty
did,
of podcasts.
yeah, and I think we had a good show too. So
I do too.
you
Well,
know,
I'm having a good time.
yeah. So
Yeah.
want to call time of death here?
Yeah, I think so. And we have a good crowd right now, 41 people I
Oh,
can
nice,
see. So
nice.
that's a good sized crowd. It's definitely growing. I know each
Yeah.
show, the people who are just viewing and watching us consistently, and it's very consistent.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you guys.
And, I
Thank
think
you.
I think it is getting a little. We started kind of at 15, 20 an hour, 40.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty good.
Right. It's growing.
Pretty
It
good,
really
pretty-
is. People
pretty
are
good.
sharing it, and the more people watch, it's nice. So
Thank y'all for
all right,
being
guys. Well,
here. Just want
we
to
will
say
be back
thank y'all for being here.
Saturday. Right. We will be back here Saturday. Me, Sam, and Jillian, and I have a couple of prospects for a guest co-host.
I would like. What did you say? Rob? Was it Rob? Was that his name? With those
What did-
interesting pictures. I think it was Rob. I don't know, but
Ross.
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 Yeah, it'd be interesting to have him see what his take is on things because
He's been
Judging-
on.
judging from his pictures, it seems like he's learning something. So
I checked, and he's been in the group a year and 1 month. So-
the quality of his pictures,
What a-
he's been paying attention and learning. So
Right.
that's
Because
good.
you can tell he knows where to focus,
yeah.
So, he knows where the curves are
Mhm.
and whatnot. So, that's cool.
Yeah.
He's learning well. And I thought he'd be a good one to have on the show. So, I think he'll say yes. He's kind of hesitant, but interested. He said maybe. So, I'm going to work on it.
Hopefully, but
He's just nervous, like we all have been.
yeah,
I was nervous. You were nervous.
but
now look at us.
we did it. So
Yeah, it's not
nobody's
so
been so
bad.
nice. So it's been easier to come on here because people have been so nice. So
Right. You're welcome, Market Man. Everybody's
you.
saying their goodbyes.
thank you for being here, Rocket Man.
Right.
But yeah, good night, guys. Thank you for being here. We'll
Yeah.
see you next week.
Right. Yeah.
Keep
See
looking up.
you Saturday, 2:00 Central. Okay. All right. Talk to y'all later. Bye.
Good night, guys.